Hello and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars, where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. My name is Hannah, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Exquisite. Hello.
Hello, Hannah. I'm very excited.
Are you excited because it's our 100th episode?
Yes. Yes, actually. Wow. I don't
That's
think
wild.
Taylor has a lyric for this.
Keep it 100.
Oh my God, you're right. Wait.
We're keeping it
It's so new.
100
It's so new. It's
on,
so new.
on the
We are
land, the sea, the
100.
sky, and
And the airwaves, if
and
you
the
will.
airwaves, especially because we are also excited because we have a special guest with us. You may or may not have seen her go viral during the Showgirl era for her incredible analysis of the chord progressions in the songs like The Fate of Ophelia. We are here with Brigid Kaelin, who is at Brigid Kaelin, Kaelin. Would you like to say hello?
I would. Hello. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Exquisite. Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Hello. If you guys don't know, Bridget is an author, composer, singer, musical saw virtuoso. I did see you do that on one of your Instagram reels. Bridget, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm all over the place, clearly, but I've always been music first. So I always label myself musician. But yeah, I was a singer songwriter, but I right at the kind of beginning of streaming and such. So, on my first album, I actually sold a bunch of CDs and toured around and stuff. Yeah, I was trying to explain that to my children. Like, I had these discs and they made a little rainbow and people bought them. And it's like back in the 1900s,
Yep, that's
But
a century ago.
exactly. But yeah, I've just kind of pieced together a living making music, which has been, I'm super grateful for that. But it's been doing a whole bunch of different things. So sometimes writing, sometimes teaching, sometimes performing, and all kinds of things. Then COVID made a whole other pandemic shift where I do a lot of, I did a lot of session work in Nashville in the kind of mid 2000s, and I shifted back to doing that again, which is like when you play on other people's albums. So this is by email, though. So earlier I played accordion for somebody I've never met and emailed it off.
Wow.
And then we talk on the internet about music.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of how, like, not to bring it back to Taylor Swift, but how Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner do things. They're just like zipping files back to each other and putting them together. But so, Bridget, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you fell into the Swiftie universe, Swift talk, and all of that jazz?
Yeah, my algorithm had not brought me there, but I'd known Taylor Swift for, obviously 20 years. And I was working in Nashville before her first album came out. So, word on the street was, people were always buzzing about the new country artist who was coming out. I was working in country music primarily. So I knew of her, and I feel like I was probably more dismissive than I should have been, just because we were all doing the same thing, and it was, just kind of chugging along. Everybody was a singer-songwriter who was kind of our age. I'm a little older than she is. I was actually already too old, according to Nashville, which is, I've traveled in other people's bands and such too, but I knew her for ages, not personally, but I knew her songs, and I taught her songs to my guitar students and piano students, and didn't really dive deeply into her albums though, just because I was like, oh, she's a good singer-songwriter. Good for her. Anyway, but really it was the last couple of years when my kids have gotten super into it. I have two boys, but they're both just obsessed. And so it was just on a lot. And I would pause it and go, hey, did you guys hear that? And say something nerdy about music. And one of them would be very excited, and the other one would be like, yeah, I heard it. But anyway, push play, stop pausing every 5 seconds. So I'm very glad that the internet likes it, because when I am, making my kids wait in the driveway before getting out because there's like one thing that's about to happen on this song, I can tell you guys instead of making them suffer.
No, so I discovered you, I think, because you were talking a lot about the Showgirl songs. And I think you did Ophelia, Father Figure. Did you hit all of them eventually, I feel like?
Individually, I don't think that's the thing. I get excited, and then it's like I want to make the video perfect, so I don't post it. So I have a lot in my drafts about all of them, but no, I didn't do them all. But I really, you mentioned Showgirl, and that's the reason I started kind of talking about it publicly, is that I felt this kind of personal. I felt like we all owe so much to Taylor Swift, and I guess we in general, but the particularly the women singer-songwriters, and I think a lot of people my age and don't realize that
Mhm.
things have changed and they have changed because of her, and that we are not each other's competition and let's lift each other up, et cetera, et cetera. And so I got pretty annoyed when my feed on October 3rd on TikTok was all people like talking about how simple the album was, and I was like, "Well, that's just a lie." So, I don't like
Yeah.
inaccurate information. So I
Yeah.
jumped on. I was like,
Yeah.
"Actually, no, it's not, and here's why." So
Yeah, I think that's so interesting that you were on the scene when Taylor was coming up. So I guess you can like really kind of get into a little bit how you seen that change since you were there as she got there, and then you're like, she, even though she started after you, paved the way for you as well. If you want to like go into that just a little bit more, because I think that's such an interesting perspective.
it truly, and I could write a book about this. Nashville, especially because so much has changed in Nashville in the past 20 years physically, like the city's unrecognizable to when I was living there. Just even the Music Row bungalows, some of them are gone and it's high rises and stuff. But yeah, the world that she was living in was songwriting, and you would really literally go to a little house. And I mean, it's crazy. She just talked about this in this New York Times interview, and I had just taught a course about this exact same thing the week before, and I was like, was she one of the camera off people in the course? Like, what's going on? But ultimately we were both in Nashville then. And so yeah, she heard the same things I did as a woman who's a singer-songwriter. She was a girl at the time, but even stuff like your hair is too curly and I was too old. I was I was a quarterfinal, right before semifinalist on this like I still laugh because I don't know how I got roped into doing this, but it was called Nashville Star. It was like the country version of American Idol that
Okay.
ran on some cable network. And I was doing the only reason I bring that up is because I was in the Tennessean in the newspaper the same week that Taylor Swift's album came out. Her first one. And so I was on the front page with my accordion, and the writer, who was an amazing writer called Peter Cooper, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he and I were standing in the alley between the Lower Broadway honky tonks and the Ryman. And he had asked to interview me because I was the only one that night who had played an instrument and sung an original song. And it was just because it was a silly reality show, and I was clearly cast as the old one. I was 27 or something. And I was the quirky one because I played the accordion. So we were laughing and talking about the scene in Nashville. And he's like, well, there's this girl who's got this album out that came out just a couple days ago. And I think her album was actually reviewed in the paper either the day before or the day after that I was in it. And he was like, her name's Taylor Swift. And I was like, yeah, I heard someone else talking about her. So it was just kind of the buzz, but it was exciting because she played an instrument and wrote her own songs, and that was unusual. And I mean, I got told all the time, don't tell people that you play more than one instrument. Like that's like looks like you're
Wow.
showing off. Like just it's just silly stuff. But so much of it we just accepted because it's show business. Ultimately, the biggest thing though that I think Taylor has changed, and this is something I think that the younger artists don't even realize, is that we were constantly told there can only be one quote girl on the bill. So only one woman musician singing. You couldn't have a woman open for another woman. Like promoters just accepted as fact that girls don't sell tickets.
Yeah.
So
Or
it just
like at a
wasn't fun.
festival lineup, just one woman.
Yeah, exactly. And even Lilith Fair didn't change country music. It was just radio wasn't playing more than a certain number of women artists per hour. And there was some sort of Twitter argument 5 years ago before it was like 2020 or 2021 about this. It's still an unwritten rule to some stations. So the fact that Taylor did this is really what cinched it for me or clinched. I can't think. It's late for me, you guys. She did this huge 10 million ticketed tour where she didn't need any openers at all because she'd already sold the tickets. And yet she had not just openers, but women openers. And that gave me all the feels
Yeah.
as someone who's worked in this business for so long. And I had to point that out to as many of my colleagues as possible. Like, hey, have you been sleeping on what she's doing silently? So I don't know if she listens to you, but I see you, and I just kind of
We think she's secretly a listener, just like she's secretly off camera in your classes.
right, exactly.
Oh
Gosh,
my
where does
goodness.
she have the time? But I felt some sort of responsibility, like, hey, we owe her a lot, and people should realize this because she's not out there going like, "Don't you see what I've done, everybody?"
Yeah, she definitely does not do that. But no, thank you for that. That was like really insightful for just seeing where she came out from. And I did like that you mentioned the New York Times article where she really did talk about coming up in the Nashville scene and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. What's very funny is that in that same art, she mentioned every single one of her albums except one, which is why you're here to talk to us about it. Because Taylor treats My Poor Evermore like a bastard redhead stepdaughter. For no
she
reason.
doesn't.
Everyone got to mention, even Speak Now, which we know she has incredibly complicated feelings about because 19 is the worst age a girl can be.
Facts.
Even mentioned Speak Now. And we know she's proud of Evermore, but she doesn't talk about Evermore because she sees Evermore as Folklore's twin. And
Not
so if she talks
twin
about Folklore,
sister. But anyways,
Right.
we thought what a way to celebrate this album, which is incredible, but to bring someone who understands the music behind it more than Exquisite. Exquisite and I, we can talk the lyrics till our faces turn blue, but we were like, Brigid, would you like to share some of the musical things that we hear but don't clock? We're not quite putting those pieces together. Brigid, do you have any thoughts about the album overall?
I have so many thoughts, and I'm such a nerdy overachiever that I did so much. Like, I spent the day making my children listen to this album with me, and I'm not kidding. We spent 45 minutes on Willow before we finished. And honestly, one of my kids left and was like, "I'm going to go do my science course now." They're homeschooled. It's a long story. But my 10-year-old, whatever time it was, he's like, "Oh, it's been 40 minutes and we're only 2.5 minutes into the song." I was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to be here a while." So I did not subject him to it, but yes, I have thoughts.
Yeah.
I am so excited to hear your thoughts. I have like a question. I wonder, I'm going to say something and you both cannot get mad at me,
Okay.
right? So there's a specific lyric in Willow that is like, I come back stronger than a 90s trend. And I wonder if that reflects in the music. I wouldn't know. I wasn't in the 90s. So
Well,
I was.
Me too.
It was music in the 90s. So I've always wondered on that part. Like I've heard music from the 90s, obviously. I'm not like only listening to music before I was born. But like were there music trends that then have been reflected in Willow around that part? Because it seems like something Taylor would do, specifically probably country music trends.
I know. Now I want to pull up the track listing because that's not. I was so focused on music today that I didn't make a ton of lyrical connections. I have to separate the two because I write lyrics also, and I feel like it's either left or right brain. Like I can't be artsy, and I think the music is mathy at the same time. I can do both, but I gotta turn them off. But there are a lot of 90s-ish and late 80s instruments all over this album. And I think that's one of the more interesting things that I clocked today. And that my 10-year-old, who maybe he's listening to this, hi Angus, he was helping me out as someone who was also not alive in the 90s. 2010. He sat in my studio. So I have these kind of big studio speakers that you hear a lot more than you do when you're just listening on your robot that plays stuff or your phone or even
I'm gonna come visit you so that I can listen to those speakers.
I'm telling you, so you have to come visit me anyway. We just discovered that we don't live particularly far away from each other, road trip style.
Yeah.
You have to come with me to a recording studio where they have like $10,000 speakers. I keep telling every time I go in to do session work there, I'm like, "Ooh, can we just listen to this one song?" She's tired of me asking. But the first thing we noticed on Willow was that it opens, and my 10-year-old has a theory that it's actually a willow branch, like rustling.
What?
And I don't.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's so many rustling sounds when it opens, and So this is my child. He's 10, and he hasn't. I've been doing research on Taylor lately, and he has not read through the stacks of books. But he goes, "This sort of sounds like fall leaves," and I was like, I think that that's the thing people think about this record is that it's very associated with fall and winter. So, of course, no idea if it's actually a willow branch, but the song, if you put on headphones or listen on really good speakers with left and right set up, the opening of Willow is like a rustling sound,
Okay, now
a
I have to
swish, and it
turn it
doesn't
up.
go away when the music comes in. It's still kind of there. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
it seems to me that it's opening like a setting, and the setting is some sort of natural thing.
Hmm.
Uh, but to bring it back to 90s that you're talking about is that there's also so many synthesizers and keyboards and stuff that was in 80s and 90s music, and they just cross with these acoustic and analog instruments so beautifully on this album.
Yeah.
And so I thought that she does this a lot, the old and the new and the contrast, and lyrically too, I'm sure. So I found that more, there's like weather textures and rustling, lots of drones and suspension, and everything's very uncomfortable sonically anyway, not just musically, but there's a lot of, well, there are suspended chords, which again, you don't need to know music theory to know that a chord makes you don't like it. You feel uncomfortable at
No,
the ending or something.
I really like that you mentioned kind of the uncomfortability in the music because it's all over the lyrics, right? Champagne
Yes.
Problems is literally the awkward silence after I said, no, I'm not going to marry you, right? Like,
Ooh.
all the way to Closure, which has the crazy drums and crashing metallic sounds. Like,
So uncomfortable.
yeah, I mean, where would you say that even is in Willow? Like, because when I think of Willow, I just think, oh, it's like, it's nice. I mean, it's a little witchy.
So musically, there is a piano that comes in. I don't know. I should have made timestamp notes, but
That's okay.
the piano's kind of turned down and it doesn't come in right away, but it's playing a totally different rhythm than the guitar, and then they're singing. So there's a clash there, but it's not a clash that somebody who's just enjoying the song and listening to it would even hear. You wouldn't. I only hear it because I've done so much session work again, which is, and being a utility player in the band. And that's utility players, like, when you go see a band and there's one person who's not actually in the band, you're like, they're not part of it, but they're on the side and they have like 4 or 5 instruments, and they're adding the one song that has a banjo, they'll add that part. And the other song that has a flute, they'll add that. The people with the weird skill sets. So I have done that. And so I'm always listening for those kind of buried textures and buried instruments when I'm listening to music. And this piano is playing in 3 while the guitars, I think it's just doing straight 8th notes. So it gets kind of they don't line up.
I wonder if it's like literally the lyric of Willow in Willow that is like rough on the surface, but you cut through like a knife. So
Oh, I
we're
love that.
hearing like the guitar is cutting through like a knife, and the piano, which is like typically the surface, is the rough part that's not meeting exactly. I think that's so interesting.
I love that. And I don't even want to zoom out to the whole album and feel like that's the kind of rough versus smooth is very, very much a theme of this album. I think people kind of describe it as a folk album, but then it's loaded with electronics. And kind of another interesting thing is that this album, I need to go back, and this is where the rabbit hole I pulled myself out of, but there are so many different instruments on this album. I think Tortured Poets maybe even had more, but up until this might, this is what album is it? 9th, 8th, 9th?
9th.
I think it's 9th, yeah.
9th album.
I'm pretty sure it has more different instruments than anything she'd recorded previously. Like, it's got 40, maybe 30 or 40 different instruments, and not typical ones. And yet it doesn't feel like a really, really busy album. And I contrast that with 1989, which feels really big and like lots are going on, but then sometimes you really listen and it's not very many different instruments. They're just doing a lot. And it's so listening to this is confusing to our brains because we're hearing lots of different sounds, but not all at the same time. And so just when you get used to one thing, something new comes in. And quite often on this album, it's the background stuff, like the cut through like a knife. And there's all kinds of other things going on under the surface that you didn't even realize that's what you're hearing. Sometimes a single note will just play for a very long time and then shift slightly and go back, but it's almost like white noise in the background, except it's an actual pitch.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of the songs that maybe have a lot of texture. So obviously Willow does. I'm trying to think of just the Aaron Dessner ones because he's like the most on the
Yeah.
album. But I'm guessing like Ivy has a lot
Oh yeah.
going on. Marjorie even has like Taylor's grandma's voice in it, plus
I love that.
Justin Vernon going on. I mean, yeah, you really feel that the tension in the songs because of the production. Whereas,
Truly.
let's go to number 2, Champagne Problems. That one is an uncomfortable song, but has a lot less instrumentation, I think. Now I have to look it all up.
Or I guess it
I
feels
know,
more focused to me, like more focused instrumentation.
It does. You can hear me typing. I'm like, okay, gotta pull up the track.
No, me too. No, we're doing that all the time.
I wish I had my version where I wish I had my album booklet. I only have my like unopened signed office that I'm not. We're not gonna open the. I wish I had my album booklet that lists all the
credits, yeah.
Instrument song.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just pulling on the old Wikipedia for that. Yeah. So Champagne Problems does not have a lot of different instruments. It does have, it's one of the few that has an actual upright bass, the kind of giant bass fiddles on it. And it's got a real piano that it's slightly out of tune, which is fantastic in these days of everything has to be perfect because you can see on your computer if you're the very slightest bit flat. So people fix notes and our ears, it's good in some ways. We're hearing things more accurately, but it also kind of makes the slightly out of tune, which used to be our normal sound, feel a little bit uncomfortable. And one thing I love about the recording of, actually this whole album, but particularly I think you can hear it a little more clearly on Champagne Problems, is there's a kind of a clicking sound in the opening of the piano, and it's just the pedal lift
being pressed.
That.
Oh, yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah, it's just and I mean, in my ears, I listened in a whole bunch of stuff. I could be wrong. I'm going to say that about everything. I could be wrong about this stuff, but that's what my piano sounds like when it gets a little bit sticky. And I have a newer piano now, so it doesn't do that as much. I will
say she does do that even with pianos. I mean, obviously, like as in, musicians can use the sound of a piano to their advantage. Like New Year's Day was literally Jack Antonoff noodling around on a piano, and then she's like, "I got a song." And then obviously Exile is a very piano forward song. Evermore later on the album also. And so, yeah, I do think that her with this song, with the slightly out of tune, that's a really great thing to note. I'm gonna listen for that a little bit.
Now I know I'm like I need to go back and listen right now.
Well, I think that it's important to do both things, and that's kind of why I've been excited, because I realized that there's so many people who talk about Taylor Swift, but there are very few that I've seen who are just talking about the music, and that's why I do try to not talk about the lyrics. Again, even though I love them, they're fantastic, and I try for my videos that I make to just stick to the music and bring in the lyrics when it makes sense, but let other people have that, because this is my superpower.
I will say, okay, this is a good question to ask you then. At the end of Champagne Problems, I think it's Aaron Dessner playing piano, right? He does like the do-do-dung, do-do-dung at the very end, where he does that little like.
He does.
What do you think?
What do you make of this?
Yeah, what do you think? Right, I've heard lots of theories, but what's your?
I haven't heard any theories. So I heard it today, and Angus and I both, again, if you're just catching up, he's my 10-year-old. We just started laughing because that's exactly what you do when you're finishing a song, a performance. He's in a band. He's in like a vibraphone marimba band, and you do this kind of great moment in the recording studio, and then you got the take. And then sometimes I do like a gosh, I wish I had my piano, like a ba-dum-ba-dum-bum, burner.
Yes.
Just for fun, because they're going to cut that off. So as soon as I heard that, and I think in the background, Taylor actually says, nice, or she says something like that, which again, turn it up really loud and put on headphones. I should have like a headphone endorsement. I keep telling people, listen with headphones. But somebody says, nice. I think it's nice. And he does that just kind of, oh, yep, that was it. Something that bugged me about it, though, is that by playing the chord he plays, he resolves the whole song. And that's another kind of big theme on this song, is that most of the songs don't have the ending that your brain expects. It's something that Taylor Swift does a lot. It's something that film composers, musical theater, like it's not a deeply genius move, but if you know what it does to your brain, you can use it. I'm not saying she's not genius. I'm just, be careful with that. This isn't a particular move that nobody else has ever done before. But Taylor Swift is genius about the way she uses it. And so this song, I feel like should have ended somewhere else. But then Aaron Desmer goes, do-do-do-do-do. I'm like, oh, but you played a C and you had left it on the 4 chord and now you resolved it.
But I think that's why it's fascinating. Like, because they could have cut it. But I feel like, so that's why, like, I've always had this debate into myself, like, did they resolve it and does she want to keep it resolved because she wants to show that, oh, it's just a story, right? Oh, like, I'm just singing a sad song, but, like, I'm not actually sad. Or was it, like, she just thought it was funny? It could be as basic as that. Like, or, was she hoping for a happy ending? Like, it's just so interesting to, like, that would be, if, like, people are like, if I could ever ask Taylor Swift a question about what to ask, I would ask, what is hoax about? And I would ask, why did you leave it?
Well, I've always wondered about that, especially one of the ways I see it is when you listen in order, and we think about Taylor, she's so very albums focused when creating that sonic landscape of an album. To go resolving champagne problems and then into Gold Rush, which is about the beginning. It's like she's like, end here. Here's the beginning of an imaginary relationship that immediately comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we're too untense, I guess, from like the trauma in like unfinished business it's kind of finished, then I feel like your brain is going to be less accepting of like someone being like, look at this world I'm imagining now with this person I see. So that's why I've always like, okay, she's like, flourish, the end. But I also just want to ask her. I bet like you could DM Aaron and he would tell us before Taylor does. She doesn't remember she doesn't remember Evermore.
I know we have a bunch of mutuals, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave him alone. I've never met him either. I did see his band in like a 30, maybe I might have opened that show actually in 2003. Anyway,
for the
I
National.
digress. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is awesome.
Nobody had heard of him then. They were just literally playing. It was a room where people were talking and it only sat 50 people. And I was actually there they were opening for Dan Byrne, who I love. He's one of my absolute favorite songwriters, but he sounds nothing like Taylor Swift, but he's just as brilliant.
Amazing.
And what you said, I think everything is true. I think everything you just said, I think one, she thought it was funny. And because that's the kind of thing that happens in recording studios. And I'd say this as someone who's been in a lot of recording studios, having recorded my own albums, but more often being just the hired gun to come in and play piano on somebody else's or accordion on somebody else's. And you kind of see these moments where decisions are made. The artist may have everything planned and then somebody hits a funny note or trips on a cable, or one note I had here, that arpeggio, which is just the playing single notes kind of quickly of a chord that Aaron does at the end, is kind of mimicking what the guitar had done earlier, like about a minute before in the song. So it's almost like I could see it being a very deep, let's close it because it's just a story. I could also see it as that was a funny thing that happened because the guitar was too loud in his mix and he thought he just like, oh, and I giggle because I see so many people making these huge connections. And of course, Taylor Swift does plant these things for us, but I also know how recording studios work. And there's magic in the moment, and you want to leave that in. And that's part of what Evermore does, is it leaves in so many mistakes that aren't mistakes, like the sound of the pedal, or I think the very last sound on Champagne Problems is actually Aaron's breath and I think it's an inhale. Again, this is why it took us 6 hours to listen to this album earlier, because I was like, is this an exhale or an inhale?
Incredible.
But, yeah, he does the arpeggio. Taylor says what I think is nice, but it's far off mic, and then Aaron kind of goes, but not like I'm a bad actor. It's not a gasp. It's just kind of a like, okay, we're finished. Like, how is that?
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Nerdy thing too is that maybe sonically, because the next song begins on an F sharp, which if they had ended Champagne Problems on an F, those two notes are right next to each other, which sounds really bad. So it wouldn't flow as well, I don't think. So maybe leaving that C in there was actually a nice way for the C being that funny arpeggio that Aaron played, made the bridge into Gold Rush
like a little palate cleanser.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like the way she changed real low to real slow.
Exactly. Which, gosh, I can't believe she said that. I wish I had all of my guitar students from the past 20 years. I can get them to like sign a voucher that I had said that's probably what it was. It's annoying to go real low because it sounds like one word.
Incredible.
I know, it's so good. But let's talk about Gold Rush, because Gold Rush, there's that like the really lush beginning that immediately is like, oh, we're diving into a daydream. That I think it's like,
oh, I love that.
She said, let's build the atmosphere here.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, it's the orchestra sounds. Oh, yeah. I love this because it sounds like it's going to be the beginning of a full orchestra tuning up, but then if like 10 seconds in or something, it kind of shifts to synthesizers. Mm-hmm. So you start with all these, actual 400-year-old instruments, cellos and violins, and then there's a shift that's not noticeable to most people because they're not super nerds like me. They're just enjoying the song, and it shifts and it's synthesizers.
No,
and
you just unlocked something in my brain. It does sound like an orchestra tuning, right? And like it's that swell that you get right before the conductor starts tapping his podium stand, his music stand, and then they jump in and you're in a different universe, right? Like you said, you're diving into daydream and you're in a completely different world, right? And then the orchestra comes back, and it's like this is the one musical thing I know about this song is that the key change, the modulation between the chorus and the verse is like a weird one. It's like not normal. It's like, I don't know. It's like usually like,
noticed.
Yeah, it's so noticeable. So I was listening to a podcast called Switched on Pop, and I
love them.
Yeah. So they did one on this song, and they were it's similar to this key change that's done in I think the song is Green Light by Lorde, which Jack Antonoff also produced, and it's just this transportive. And so this song is wild. I thought it would be the wildest song on the album, but then we get to the end, but it's so fun.
I love it. And it's weird because this key change sounds a lot weirder than it actually is. If you're to kind of map out all the chords, there's really only one chord that's not in the key we started in. It's in F sharp minor. And then the chorus, I think this is where you get music nerds fighting. And if I say it's in D, then they'll freak out. They'll say it's A Mixolydian, and they'll throw it. I have this whole theory, and this is my whole thing in my videos, is that there's all these words, and I feel like they're designed to gatekeep and make you think you don't know anything about music, but you heard that something weird happens, and so somebody along the way gave it a name. But we can all just feel that something strange happens in this song, and it just happens for a moment, and then it brings us back. But that one moment kind of shifted everything, so makes you feel unstable.
I keep thinking about what you said about one, the unstableness, but also that orchestra tuning up. And it literally stops tuning up at the but. Literally, she says but, and it's like, oh no, we're switching, which is just a very funny thing to do.
So you should also
switch.
Yeah. Yes. She does all kinds of fun, and there's kind of twinkly chimes that are in the background too that I love, and the lyrics are twinkling, gleaming, twinkling.
Yes.
And there's like, I think this is Oliver Showgirl too, but it's an electronic instrument called an omnichord from the 80s that she uses on Showgirl. But this one is actual, I think, percussion chimes, like, and then she does it just in the I don't like anticipating. She plays with the kick drum, which she loves to do. The Archer which different album, but we're all just kind of waiting for something to actually happen with those drums, and then nothing actually happens. that she actually says the word anticipating, and then the drum drops out, but then it comes back in right when because she doesn't like anticipating it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
love how she plays
that.
with that.
Yeah, because
So
that's the
good.
thing. Like, when you combine amazing lyrics with production, that's when you get magic, right? Like or like a different
100%.
kind of explosive magic. No, yeah, this song is I think it's one of the standouts on the album, and so it's just a crazy song. Like, just, all right,
Wow.
yeah.
Enjoy it.
Well, let's go to the next one. We're gonna go back to
Okay.
Aaron, to "'Tis the Damn Season." This one, very electric guitar heavy. Like, she's gone back to electric guitar, which I feel like she, I don't know. I don't. Was there a lot of electric guitar in like, not in a Lover? I mean, I don't remember. But anyways, this one's the one that she wrote when she was drunk after they were recording the Long Pond sessions, and she's like, "I have a song, Aaron." He was like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna keep going." Any thoughts about this one, Brigid?
So I really try to connect with this song, and I haven't gotten there yet, and I feel sad about that. Do you guys have any? I keep certain songs I zone out on halfway through, and this is it. I've
What
probably
do
heard
you-
it 10 times. I zone out.
What
Am
you
I
have to
fired?
do for Tis the Damn No. What you have to do for Tis the Damn Season? The best way to enjoy Tis the Damn Season, you have to be driving on the back roads at night,
Oh,
listening to Tis the Damn Season.
I've never done that.
That's when you have to listen to it. And it's either that or driving home. Like, I do a lot of long drives all the time. Driving home specifically for like winter or Thanksgiving, that's when you play Tis the Damn Season, because that's like what it's about. But backwards at night when it's kind of dimly lit and there's trees around you, maybe some cicadas going on. That's
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Now this makes a little more sense, because part of what I don't like about when this song comes on is that it's hard to tell where the downbeat is, where beat one is at first, but it's not a complicated song rhythmically. And yet everything is usually something is a little louder or stronger, and your
Brigid,
brain
would you
knows
say it's
that's where
making
beat
you
one's.
uncomfortable?
Oh, it's definitely making me uncomfortable. But sometimes I really love the discomfort. But this one, I guess it's at the beginning. Usually on this album, it's the ending that's uncomfortable, which, as people seem to have told me on the internet today when I asked a question about something else, that this album's all about endings, which seems to be endings of different sorts. But
Yes.
the endings of all of the songs are unpredictable, uncomfortable, a little
Yeah.
tricky. But the beginning of "'Tis the Damn Season" it bugs me.
But I think that's also because Tis the Damn Season, kind of like Cowboy Like Me, you know how it opens up in the middle of the sentence. Tis the Damn Season opens up and at the half of a conversation, because it opens, if I wanted to know who you were hanging with while I was gone, I would have asked you. So something has been said right before.
Yes.
Something has been
chaotic.
said to her, and she's responding like, I don't even want to know that. Like, she probably just called him and he's like, actually, and she's like, no, I don't care. I don't care about this.
Let's just go. Let's get
It's
out of here.
cold as hell. Let's go hook up right now.
Yeah.
I'm home now.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's like, I'm home now. I stepped back into, like, it's almost like I'm trying to step back into the past. And I know I can't really do that, but let's pick up where we left off right after that first beat. Or
Okay.
That's exquisite.
I'm in.
I like that. I'm sold. Because I think you're right, Brigid. It does start off very off kilter. Yeah. Because it's dun 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 dun, and then you're like, where did it start? Where did it go? But yeah, no, This one is it's just
they're trying to regain their footing. They're on different paths. Like, the two people are not. They're like here and here, and she's like, I'm entering.
Okay,
I'm entering right here.
people can't see that. Exquisite was putting her hands
know.
in parallel lines so they can't meet, is what she was doing.
And look, they're in parallel lines, but then Taylor like jumps down to where he's at, and it's like, yo, where'd you come back from? Which is always what it's like when you revisit, like, if you've gone to Europe, if you revisit like your old high school or your old like stomping grounds, and you're like, okay, this is different. I can't, like, I used to run this place, and now I'm like, I don't even know where you guys moved
Half
the
the
bathroom.
teachers are gone, and
the
ice
you have
cream
to,
shop is
readjust
closed.
and resettle yourself.
Yeah.
So I think the discomfort settling into the song makes it interesting. So you just got to listen to it on a drive. You
That
gotta
makes total
listen
sense.
on a drive.
Well, the one note that I have, and this is the only song I have one line, I said it's in 4/4, but it's really hard to tell where the beat is. Like, where am I? So your quote about the back roads made total sense because that's what it feels like. It feels like I think I know where I am, but I'm not sure it's different. So there we go.
I love that.
Boom.
Well, I will say the Tolerate It though has a weird downbeat just because it's not in 4/4 like we're used to. We have like this churning. I would call it like a churning, like underbelly of like discontent and like darkness. So yeah, I love this song.
I do too. I like
I
it a
do
lot.
too.
That's good. Most people in my comments are really hating on it, or they're saying, "Why do I tolerate it?" And so you guys don't hate it. That's good.
Yeah, I think it is because it is a very uncomfortable song. I'm so glad you said that at the beginning because now I'm going to use that for the rest of the album. But like it's. Yeah, because that driving force, I mean, because Aaron Dessner does this a lot. He does a lot of very, like, train, chugga, 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 like The Last American Dynasty, Long Story Short, even this one. But this one is not going to Holiday House. This one is not going back, to, If It Feels Like Home, The Shoe Fits Walking. This one is like, I'm going to the silentest dinner I've ever been to in my life, where you don't look at me, you just read a book, and I just sit there. Like, no one wants to go to that house. Like, even in Willow, like, my train could take you home. This place is not a home.
No.
Not a home.
I feel like I read that it was about when she was reading Rebecca,
Right.
which is one of my favorite novels. And it's funny because that's actually about an incredible house. Like, it's got that amazing opening line of "Last night I dreamt I went to Mandalay again." So, and yet I was just tolerated.
It's just it's so interesting for it to be like tolerate, and then that you've got that the beat that is not a beat. Like I can't find it.
Yeah.
Again, off kilter.
So how dirty do you want me to get about?
You can get as
Should I
dirty.
explain why?
Yes.
So okay, so there's an argument, but I will go with Aaron Dessner's because I read in one of the articles that he calls it 10/8 time. A lot of the sheet music, if you look for it, is all in 5/4. What does that mean? If you're like, don't turn off the podcast because I'm going to use regular accessible words. All it means is that strong beat that we couldn't find at the beginning of 'Tis the Damn Season, the strong beat, we're used to it happening every 3 beats or every 4 beats. That's what most of the songs we've heard most of our life in Western music has done. And so that's the pattern our brain feels really comfortable with. If we'd grown up listening to songs where it was 5 or 10, we would feel comfortable with that. But this one is every 5 beats if you're counting slow, or every 10 beats if you're counting fast. Like Aaron says, it's 10 beats. Gosh, I wish I'd turned on my piano because I think I could get away with playing stuff if it's not Taylor's version. Basically, it doesn't, after 4 beats, the pattern doesn't repeat. So you think, oh, it's going to go to 6 or 8. And so you're expecting that. But then after the 5th beat or the 10th beat, it's basically the difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
The same amount of time passes. It's just if you're counting it with numbers or 1 ands. So your brain expects that, and your brain would be more comfortable if it was it was 3, 4, or 6 or 8. Anything but 5 or 7 or 11. Those are not common. You see them more in musical theater, or like Pink Floyd did it, kind of. I will say, you see odd time signatures more often in places where you are more likely to be paying attention. Like you're in musical theater in a seat, you're not scrolling your phone, and you're not driving to work, you're not working out. So your brain can clock the weird stuff a little bit more comfortably. But most of the time when we're listening, we're driving or doing something else. And so when our brain has to work extra, it feels, we don't like it. And that's why Tolerate It feels uncomfortable, because you're like, what's going on? I can't clock the rhythm. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it makes the song so powerful because she's just off kilter. She can't figure him out. It's very much like in Dear John when she sings like, I play your game, living your chess game.
I live in your chess game, but you change the rules every day. And she's also like trying to get his attention. And it's like you do something out of the ordinary to get attention, and it's still not. It's like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm literally giving you the best colors for my portrait. Like, look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
And we tolerate it. We listen to it, even
yeah.
though it's maybe we're like, okay, we know we like Taylor Swift. I don't know about this song, but I'm going to give it a try.
And then I celebrate it, which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
My love should be celebrated, which is such a, my love should be celebrated, but you tolerate it. It's such a forced rhyme, which is so interesting on like this forced rhythm that's going on.
It is. And that I think that tolerate, like the rhyme part happens on beat one. So she's kind of split the main title of the song between two measures, which is just groupings of sound.
Oh, like sitting on opposite sides of the table. Like they're literally
that's
split.
good, yeah.
Oh,
It was like if you're reading a poem and you use, or a book and there's a hyphen and you have to jump to the next line.
Yeah, like a line break.
Even though it's the same word and you'd pronounce it the same in the audiobook, but in the real book it's different. So
yeah, or like in poetry with enjambment, it's like musical enjambment. It's so interesting.
Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda does it a lot in his stuff too, and just kind of the rhyme is amazing, but it doesn't line up with the meter of the song, and so we're going to split it so that the rhyme lands at the right time.
But it also emphasizes it in a way that you wouldn't expect, but can be very powerful, right? Like you tolerate it, or like, oh, like there's some agony in there.
Yes.
It's like a forced continuation, because again, she's like, I can take the weight of you and lose it. Like I can put myself in one measure. I don't need to stretch myself beyond and make it weird, but I'm going to, because I just wanted you to love me. Like, oh my goodness. Wow. What a song.
It's uncomfortable, but it's super interesting. There's a lot going on.
Well, there's also a lot going on in the next track, No Body, No Crime, featuring the Haim sisters in the band Haim. I don't know why I said it like that. This one I do think is funny because it starts with the siren sound. And so sometimes I'm like, is there a cop? Oh, no, it's
Every time. It scares me every time.
Every time. She knew what she was doing when she did that, because it's in a couple other, I can't even think of it now, but there are other songs that do that, and every time. It's like putting a cell phone, like a text message alert in something, or saying, I won't even say the robot speaker's name, but when I'm watching something and they say her name, then my robot speaker starts doing something. Yeah.
I mean, this song is like super country. Like she was like, well, let me just put on my boots and find my hat and do a little, Dixie Chicks or the Chicks impersonation.
Right. Yeah.
Let me just do
it's
it.
My favorite country tradition. My favorite country music tradition is women who are going to kill a man. It's one of my favorites. I was literally just listening to Reba, who also loves to do this, does it multiple times. And it's like Taylor, who had been in country for so long before she switched, which is very actually funny because now she has more albums not country than she ever was country.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy thing to think about. And I was so excited in her New York Times interview where she keeps talking about that country tradition. And since you are of the Nashville scene, what country traditions are you seeing like musically in this song?
Well, it's funny you say that too, because her albums, like you say, there are fewer country albums than pop or folk or anything else. And yet the songs, when you zoom in, if you just play them on an acoustic guitar, most of them are still country. It's in the production and it's in the choices that happen in arrangements, because her songwriting is still very, very steeped in the Nashville songwriting and country music tradition, which is storytelling. And we're not talking shiny, sparkly cowboy hats and beers and trucks and men and mamas and trains and stuff. It's we're telling a story and we're being really specific with details, because that's a lot more interesting than just I walked down the street and I saw this. Instead, you say something like, the pothole caught my ankle and there was a worm. I don't know. That's my deep poetry for the night. But this song, it's a murder ballad, and it sounds a little more country, I think, because there are more guitars in it. But I think this is one where he uses that rubber bridge guitar that they talk about on, what is it, the Long Pond Sessions.
Yeah. I think it's on like Invisible String and something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's a whole section where they're talking about it, and he sent her one or something. So you get more strings and more of the acoustic guitar sound. So it sounds more country to our
Yeah,
ears.
I think
But
it's got like a harmonica in it or something, right?
it does. I thought it was an accordion at first, and I was like, finally an accordion. And then I was like, who's playing accordion if it's not me? And it's not, it's a harmonica. So I was a little relieved by that. Taylor, come on, I play the accordion.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you don't
this
have to cry.
definitely has the whole, what she talked about in the New York Times interview. Um, tell a story about someone else, and then it's now the story's gone to me, and look, I did
Uh-huh.
it. Like,
Yep.
surprise! No one was
Plot twist.
surprised, but
It is, and that's what happens in country songs.
Yeah.
Like I think it might actually be Tim McGraw. It's the "Please Don't Take the Girl." Is that what it's
Yes.
called?
Yeah.
Don't
So
take
it's
the
don't
girl.
take the girl. Yeah.
Don't take the right. And so every verse it gets a little bit, and then the last verse, it's I won't spoil it, but go listen. It's a great song.
great
Even
song.
if you don't like country music, you can appreciate the plot twists. So this does it too.
Yeah.
So that is the tradition. And the lap steel guitar, which is that sort of twangy sound. Yeah, I mean, that you could put that on 1989, and I think people would think that's a country album. So sometimes it's just the banjo that's doing it.
That all the heavy lifting.
Likewise, sometimes people will say it's a country album, and it's not, just because they put a banjo on it. So. But no, I like this song a lot. This is usually the one that I will go to when I'm like. This is the one that I had heard probably the most before, because it's I don't know. It's really good storytelling. It's interesting sound layering. There's, I don't know, just the slide guitar throughout kind of sounds like the sirens in the beginning. So there's this kind of throwback to, am I caught yet? Oh no, it's just a guitar. I love it.
That is great.
Yeah. Actually, you're the best person to ask this question, I think, because you've done things in studio. And I think, how there's this joke about Taylor and her features where sometimes it'll feature like featuring Haim or featuring the Chicks, and they're just in that background providing that support. And I remember when I was younger listening to Taylor albums, and I would hear the people providing support in the background that weren't credited, like weren't featured. And I've always wondered like how that works. Like, yes, this time, and we have like the part of She Was With Me Dude, but how is this working where they're the feature? Because I also know they're doing a little bit more that probably if I had better speakers I could hear. But
yeah, I didn't really, they're not spotlighted. So this is one of those moments where, again, my opinion, personally, I think this was Taylor shining a light on somebody that she thought should have more credit. And so she wanted to put her friends on it so that we knew who her friends were and that they're awesome. And putting it in the title like this, because that is something that when you go to list your song on digital streaming, even the featuring becomes part of the title. And I didn't realize till that I did this on my 2008 record. I had a guy I knew from Nashville sing a duet, and I put featuring Shannon Lawson because I was a big fan, and I thought his fans might like my stuff. He was a much bigger artist than I was. But then every time I put it in the ASCAP and BMI stuff, that became part of the title too. So I'm not sure if that's still the case, but it made me think, oh, that's cool of her to put that in there so everybody knows every time it comes up on the radio or anything, they get credited too, not just my friend played or sang a background on it. I feel like that is something she's good at too. She sometimes gives shared writing credits when, as a musician, I feel like that's not actually the same song. How kind of her. She's a very generous person.
Is it kind of, I guess, her prerogative to be like she didn't, there's no like hard and fast rule, like, yes, you should be credited no as like a featured versus like, because I know like for Cowboy Like Me, Marcus Mumford, he's not featured, but he's very clearly, and Justin Vernon too is like in the background of like Ivy and other things. So that's just solely based on like the agreement that Taylor, either she's just gifting it or they've made an agreement like, hey, okay.
Yes. Yes. And I would imagine that, this is where I start inventing my own conversations that happen, but she seems like a very good giving person. And she probably was like, no, I'm putting your name up here in the title. Like everyone's going to know who did backing vocals, because I didn't notice them. I mean, I noticed that there were backing vocals, but I wasn't like, oh, who is this artist over here singing this very specific background vocals. It's not normally something that you would do is credit the
Yeah,
background.
no, Brigid, there's
artist.
actually Taylor used to get criticized a lot because they'd be like, "Why are you featuring all these women?" But they're only singing backing vocals.
There you
But I
go.
like your perspective because she's like, "Yes, they're only singing backing vocals, but I want you to know who they are." Like I could have not credited them,
Mhm.
right? But then like, for example, Colby Calais, Maren Morris, they were
Literally the same.
but like no, but that means that Maren Morris got a lot of streams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
wonder
think-
also if like the function of having it in the title, specifically because in No Body No Crime, featuring Haim, they're the characters in the
Ooh, I like
song.
that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it also like this is a story and this story stars the dead body of SD.
My friends are in the song. I love that.
And they're dead.
Incredible. All right.
No, I like this song a lot. It's a jam. It's good.
No, it's great. The next song is another uncomfortable song, Coney Island.
No, we skipped.
Wait, did I skip a song?
Yeah, we skipped a couple.
The
Or
next one
I
is
know-
Happiness.
Oh my
The next
gosh,
one
I'm
is
so
Happiness.
sorry. You know what it is? It's because I was looking at the singles order. Technically, Coney Island was like, you know how she like released tiny little radio singles?
Oh,
My
yeah.
bad. You're right, Happiness. How could I forget?
It's also an uncomfortable song.
Okay.
I love when an artist will be like, "This song is Happiness. It's called Happy," and then it's like,
The
"This
sad.
is like genuinely."
Oh, she's so good at doing that too.
Yeah, what did you
Yeah,
think
it
about
doesn't
this? So,
sound happy at all.
what do you think about this song? This song has like that like dun dun like very like elongated chords, and she's kind of singing over them, very above the trees, you may say, as the song lyrics go.
You have good ears, you guys. Yeah, there's a lot of drones happening. So in music, I mean, droning, think of like a bagpipe that there's always a low pitch playing, even though there's a melody at the same time. There's like that. I can't sing two notes at once, but the low note will hold the entire time. And it's this padding, this background. So there's a lot of that here. It's synthesizers and maybe an organ. There's not a lot of the sound engineer nerd word is attack. And if you can picture a sound wave when it's really big at the beginning and then it kind of fades away, that beginning part is the attack, like how quickly you hear the sound, and then it fades into kind of sustaining the ringing of a guitar string. But the first is very obviously a guitar. On these soft kind of drone synthesizer pads, there's not a lot of attack. It sounds more like voices, kind of, or almost like somebody's fading it in and fading it out. And it takes up a lot of space, even though it's not doing a lot of pitch work. It's not singing a lot of different notes. It's just there all the time.
Yeah,
I don't love it.
Yeah, it's like it's not busy at all. We do
Yeah.
get like, as the singer is kind of resolving, or like, like resolving to move on, like hasn't moved on yet. Like you still start getting some like plucking noises that are like pizzicato almost, and a little syncopated. And that's like the most movement we get, and then you get extra loud droning at the end. I'm just like, oh my gosh, is she gonna be okay?
Yeah. I'm also a sucker for the Gatsby reference in any song. So I love that.
I was going to say my favorite part in this song, like obviously it's the hope she'll be a beautiful fool that takes a spot next to you. Sorry, I didn't mean that. And then it's also and I pulled your body into mine every goddamn night. Like she like speeds up in the verse. And I just think that's very interesting when there's like that drone that's happening.
It does. And it mixes, there's a violin in there too. So you get that same sort of contrast between the old analog violin with these synthesizers. And sometimes they're playing the same notes, so they overlap, and it's like, which is which happens a lot in this album. Yeah. And it's also why it takes up so much space. So there's not a ton going on, and yet there's always something happening. There's always a sound. This is an interesting one too, because it actually does resolve. Most of the songs on this album don't resolve in the way that you expect a song to resolve, which just means it starts and ends in the same place. You start at home at the beginning, you go on a little trip, and you and back home, like, the Odyssey or something.
Yeah.
Hero's journey. But this one does that. It's not it's in the key of B, I think. Yeah, B, which is not usually a piano player's favorite key. I'm a weirdo in general, so I like B because I can feel it. You use all the black keys in the key of B. It's the one that uses all of 5 sharps, 5 black keys.
I will say,
and
wait, I want to go back a little bit because you said that it does kind of resolve at the end, but this one also has some like weird twangies at the end, like as with that resolved drone. It's like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, again, not a singer.
Oh, I like that though because it doesn't sound like it resolves, but musically it does end up back at home. So maybe that's
just
something.
Literally like the thesis of the song of like, there's a me in the future that will forgive you and is resolved of this. I haven't met her yet, so yes, the song resolves, but also there's some stuff.
I like that.
And also,
And
you're
there's this
changed.
interplay.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, kind of thing, or reverse that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because
I haven't met the new me yet.
No, so for me, I hear it the opposite way, Exquisite. I'm like, she's trying to resolve, but I don't think she ever will. I think it'll always have this crack at the end because of the weird production sounds. But it could be both. It could be, which is it going to be?
It's allowed to be both, She again, because she says in the song like, sure, but also, I hope she's a beautiful fool. Also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Like, she's going back and forth with herself on the thing, and she's like, I'm pissed, but I want to be past it, and I can't. And the song ends, and it's like, yes, the relationship ends, but the weird things.
Yeah, they're still there. 2 things can be true.
Yeah.
Both of these things can be true.
Wow, good job, everybody. That was one brain cell. I love that.
We've done it. It does. The song builds and builds, but it feels like it doesn't go anywhere.
Like the Archer like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of not going anywhere, Dorothea is such a sweet song, and I wonder what's making it musically so sweet. It's a sweet song.
It is. It's like a jaunty song. I imagine that she wrote it on a ukulele. So this is one of those kind of things like, I think you did. I think you didn't want to get out of bed one day and you didn't want to go get your guitar, but the ukulele was right there. So you were just like, it's another one of those songs that is very country if you take out all the synthesizers and such. It's and the piano is very jaunty and like we're skipping and it's almost a swing, but then there's the drone and it makes it feel like there's so much more going on. This one has a really, really complex chord progression.
Oh.
So just to go back to all the people who are like, she writes such simple stuff. Sometimes she does because her lyrics are really, really, really amazing. And if you distracted the listener with complicated sounds, then they wouldn't hear your incredible lyric.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have such a hard time listening to the words in this, even when I'm trying to focus on it, because there's so many different chords in this song. They move around a lot. Oh. It starts out really simple. And then like, it's just if you know music, it's just 1, 5, 4, 5 in the beginning, but then we have all kinds. I actually went over to another website that does some really deeply nerdy analysis. And it had some rating of harmonic complexity, and I was like, okay, I'm not wrong. Like this song is complex harmonically.
Wow.
And, did I read? I'm looking at my notes to see. I think my notes might be off. I was looking at the people who played it. I have a note that it has a lot of the same people as "'Tis the Damn Season," like the players on the track list. Now I have to go back because I feel like I meant to say that about Coney Island. Ignore me, everybody.
No worries. No, I think
the good thing about Apple is it lists everything when you go and look at the credits.
Oh, that's right. I have Apple too.
No, I do love what you said about the piano being jaunty and happy. Like for me, this song, it is very sad because he's never going to be reunited with Dorothea again. But he's just singing a tune. He's just happy to just remember her and be with her. I also like this song because it has her laughing in it in the background.
Oh,
like she goes, ha ha ha, or something like that. Like a little in the background, like she's like doing a little giggle in the back. Taylor used to laugh a lot in her songs. Like up until Lover, she had at least one track where she laughed, and then she stopped laughing in Folklore Evermore.
But we can't like there.
I mean, there wasn't a lot to laugh about during the pandemic.
Yeah, there was nothing to smile about.
Yeah.
Nothing to
No.
smile about. I think what you said about like it being deceptively complicated is kind of how I feel about Dorothea, right? Like it's so sweet.
Ooh.
It's so like this well wishing for this person to be, but it's also the like you could come home to me, like I'm never gonna see you again. I'm kind of sad, but I want to have this uncomplicated wish for you, but also what I wish for us is something different that's probably never going to be. So it's very interesting, like that you say you can't listen to lyrics because you're getting distracted by the music.
Yes. Yeah, I like that take. And it's those synthesizers. They're doing a rhythmic thing. It's almost, I think it's an arpeggiator, which is just a fancy word for saying they're playing really fast notes up and down. It's the same thing that happens in the crazy breakdown of Death by a Thousand Cuts. It's just, but you can control. That wasn't that perfect rendition of that song. But it's distracting to me because it's is like a chord, is it a melody, am I supposed to be listening to that? And the fade out on Dorothea has this synthesizer that's doing this very programmed.
Yes.
Yeah,
It starts like vibrating at the end.
Yes, yeah, basically it does. And it's weird because most of the instruments that Aaron is playing on it are your standard, like Beatles albums, early like rock band. It's a bass guitar, an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, piano, a tambourine. Like it's very normal, but somehow the synthesizers kind of take over this song, which is distracting to my ears.
Yeah, it's almost it's almost like the reverse of Gold Rush, where you had the strings take you to somewhere else. This one, like the synthesizer is like ending his daydream of being with Dorothea. Like she ain't coming back. Like erase.
It's just through the TV. It's through those TV waves.
It's just the TV waves. Wait, that's so sad.
It's just so interesting how she uses all this other. She takes the time on these arrangements to help it tell the story too, and that's what I've been doing in my videos is talk about how the music and the arrangements and production is more complicated than people think, and it really does help with the feeling and the emotion that you have when you're listening to it. I wanted to stop this song and record it just with the ukulele and show you how the song probably started. Maybe I'll do that by the time this airs and just
that'll be so
cool.
We'll link to it. We'll link to it.
Now I have a homework. I love it. Love homework, Professor.
No, it genuinely is. It genuinely is so good. It reminds me of when I was I'm teaching my students right now about how when we're writing, right, we as the author, the creator, we're thinking of so many things like the assonance, the alliteration, the consonants. We were talking about synecdoche and I never said this word right. Metonymy.
Oh wow, that's a hard word to say.
I've never pronounced it correctly, but like all of these things that someone who is reading your story is maybe not thinking about it, but it's affecting them and it's working on them. Like they aren't realizing that you are purposely echoing visuals with the sound. Like you're saying red light and you have tomatoes in here and you're also purposely using that R over and over and over again. Like maybe they're not consciously like clocking it, but their subconscious is like, oh, this is an image and I'm tracking it. And that's what Taylor does. And it's like, until someone draws your attention to it, you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that the artist was talking about, like the poet was talking about space and slowly making the vowel sound be higher up in the octave as I read it. Like, oh, we're going up. And I didn't even realize it until I noticed it. So it's very fun that Taylor also is doing this. And it's like, till someone points it out to you and it's like, look, you hear that.
Yeah. And just like books and poems, like you don't have to know all that stuff to just enjoy it. If you want to take a class and break it down and learn about that stuff, you can. You can then take all that knowledge and for the rest of your life analyze everything, or you can just choose to know it and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody can turn it off. With music, I can't always, but sometimes I can just throw myself into the feeling of it. And I think that's so cool. And that I think one thing that's amazing and that makes me want to re-record all of my albums is that Taylor Swift has the time, budget, really the budget to do this. And I'm not jealous in any way. It excites me and it makes me want to rethink what would I have done if I had had unlimited studio time, or if I could have called a full orchestra. Would I have put that in? Because my albums they're very singer-songwriter. Like I wrote a song and here's the song and maybe it has a banjo, but I didn't intentionally orchestrate the way that when I write for film or TV, I'm much more intentional with that stuff. My own songs were just songs. And Taylor's, I think, first album was mostly just songs. And as she's gotten, older and more, I don't know, just worked with so many interesting people, she's really been using all of the people she knows like their own instruments. And it's just so cool. And it makes me I wish that everyone had that ability to make like 5D art, right?
I'm very excited to see her re-record the Taylor's versions to see what she's like. Let me bring into the orchestration to double that feeling of like loneliness or like connection and the tied together with smile, all of those. So I'm very interested musically what she's gonna subtly change to like bring. That's the one I'm most interested in doing and in hearing and seeing.
It's gonna be the last one because she's not redoing.
It will be, obviously it's gonna be the last one. She's not doing Reputation. We may get bonus tracks next year for Rep's 10-year anniversary. She'll be like, here are the vault tracks. I was never gonna re-record this, but I am like very excited. And I'm assuming it's coming out this year because it's 20 years. 2 decades.
I know.
So it's like an interesting update. And I think, did you see those reviews that were all, especially after around like Speak Now, Taylor's version, 1989 Taylor's version, people were like, the Taylor's version project is like, there's no point in this, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you guys aren't seeing, like, she's literally self-editing in real time.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's incredible.
And sticking it to the man. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Oh,
well, now we arrive at Coney Island.
See, I told you I'd run us off the rails.
No. It's the 100th episode. We do whatever we want.
Exactly. We run each other off the rails.
So let me repeat what I said last time. Here's another very uncomfortable song. This one is a lot more lonely, I would say. When it first opens and you hear the little bit of plucking, I don't know, some kind of guitar-y stringy thing, and then the drum, the doon 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 doon. It's whereas Happiness felt very lush, and Gold Rush especially very lush at the beginning, a lot of sound. This one sounds very empty to me, like everyone has gone home, and you're just sitting there on a bench.
I agree. And I think that, to go back what I said at the beginning, it's bizarre because there's so many different instrument song and yet it feels empty, which that's magic of production. Turn that down, pan that left, put that over here, all these compressions, pull out the strings, put them back in, pluck it, don't. It's doing all kinds of things.
Yeah. It's
and yet, like you said, it's lonely. It's lonely.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the jingle bells in this one?
I
love that.
It's like vaguely. It's one of the songs on this album that builds the atmosphere of why it's a winter album. It's like, oh, this is fall winter. Exactly. This is fall winter.
And it's interesting to me though because jingle bells tend to, when you hear sound, it triggers the memory. And for most people, jingle bells is joyous, even though it's wintry. It's like, oh, this means it's the holidays and happiness and just hear those. And it's not what the function of the jingle bells are in this song. And yet our brains still kind of connect this happy memory to it. So it's another one of those contrasting happy sound, sad song. Anyway.
Yeah. I haven't heard the bells in this song.
They're very low in the mix. Yeah, if you want to listen there, I have a note there. They start at 58 seconds in. So if you pause the podcast, come back to it. So.
That's great.
Go turn your headphones all the way up.
Turn off your notifications that don't get like weird.
Go listen to the Dolby Atmos stems. Go find those.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, this one I think, and then this one also has obviously the different timbres of Taylor Swift voice and Matt Berringer's voice. Right, he's like she's still very. I guess wait, Brigid? How would you describe the timbre of Taylor Swift's voice? This is a good question to ask you.
You have a deceptively unique voice. So how would you describe it?
Oh, so the lower register is velvet to me, and the higher register is silk. But I have synesthesia, so I very
Oh.
like that's just what I see and think. Yeah, I think it's lovely. It sounds expensive but accessible. I don't know. That's
No, that's really great. So, for those of you who don't know, timbre, it's spelled Timbre. It's like the quality of the sound. It's like what, even though a violin plays the same note as a clarinet or a saxophone, they sound and feel different because of the way they vibrate or the air passes or whatever. And so, yeah, so I 100% see what you mean, especially about Taylor Swift's voice being like velvet at the bottom. Like when she sings those low notes in like Maroon, right? Very like
oh yeah.
deep and rich.
Or and I can fix him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can
I
fix
love
it.
it.
Yeah,
In the Good Boy. That's right. Listen, I'm close.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
I like it when she's singing with who is it? It's the national, but whose voice? Matt. Nah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because they're typically when you have a guest artist, you're usually singing harmonies, but they're singing an octave apart, which is basically the same note, but she's singing a little bit higher. So instead of two different notes that sound nice together, they're singing like a do and a do at the same time.
Wait,
It's like a C and a
that's
C
so
or
crazy. They're like parallel. They're a universe
parallel.
away, if you will,
Oh, there you
because
go.
of the lyrics. So instead of like being on the like they're on the same page but out of step, just like in the song, literally. Like
Yeah, they never meet. Like,
They
mostly.
never
they
meet.
never meet and they can't meet. Like, were you waiting at our old spot, the note? But I'm up here and you're just
Wow, it's like yeah, it's like those movies where like they're in different timelines, right? And they can be at the same
Oh yeah.
place, but they're never gonna see each other because, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
that is so cool. I've never like I which is very funny because I play clarinet and I was in band for many years. And I have such a hard time hearing melody versus harmony unless someone isolates it. So I didn't realize that they were on the same like they're not harmonizing, they're singing the same note. I
And why
didn't
would there?
realize that.
Yeah, if that's how you're listening to music, then I feel like that you're not having the full experience that the composer intended. So this is where I have to kind of shut things off in my brain before I can access the emotion because I'm so into the analytical bit. And this is entirely from my job. Like I've had to predict what chord comes next so I don't lose my job. And that's what's kept me hireable is that it looks like sorcery, but I'm like, oh no, I know that if you played this, this is coming. But it also means that I miss a lot of the emotional stuff. So don't stress too hard about if you can find the harmony or the melody, because it just means you're enjoying the
It's
song
it's
more.
it's all about Taylor scholarism. So now I'm like, okay, I can hear it here. Because again, it's unconsciously developing the fact that
Yes.
they're separated.
Yeah.
Because if they were in tune with one another, someone should be harmonizing. Perhaps he should be harmonizing under her, because typically it's the other way around, but whatever. If we want to
No, I love
feminism.
that because yeah, now I'm gonna go through all of her duets and like listen to
Yeah.
see if they're harmonies or melody or like
That's a
octaves.
good task. But I have a question about
it's
Coney Island and champagne problems. And I just made a video because I have a theory that I'm not going to talk about because it might be completely out of the blue, but I want to know if they're related in any way.
Coney Island and champagne
And
problems.
champagne problems. And there's another one on this record. Like, you know how there was the folklore trilogy that,
Mhm.
and then some people asked me, is there anything musical connecting those three songs? And I found, okay, yes, there is. Well, I heard something musical on three of the songs on Evermore, but I don't think they were actually related. But I want to know then, why did Aaron Dessner do what I think he did?
Oh,
Well, tell us what you
I know I put a
heard.
mystery out here. So.
Tell us what you heard, because
No, I'm not
I
gonna
can
do
make
it
a case for anything. I can make a case for anything. But listen, because one of the things, especially with Evermore specifically, because there are some songs that Taylor on Evermore was like, these are related. Dorothea, 'Tis a Damn Season are the same story. And a lot of people forget that for some reason, because they forgot that they read the prologue. But I can see the case for Coney Island and Champagne Problems, even if it's just these are parallel stories. This is the post of it all, like the post story, like the epilogue of Champagne Problems.
Right.
Because these are two people, they never meet again, and they're pondering, like, did I like ruin this? Did I shatter you? Did I hold your hand while dancing?
Okay.
Yeah, I do feel like,
I can make-
well, I do feel like this album has a lot of, it is about endings, but there's also a lot of regret on this album, right? I would say that Champagne Problems, right? Like, am I gonna regret not holding your hand, like, and like taking the ring, right? 'Tis the Damn Season. Do I regret leaving my hometown? Do I regret leaving you? And Tolerate It. Am I gonna regret pulling this dagger out of me? Coney Island, like all, people say this is kind of like a mashup, a lot of the relationships she's had, right? Or just like, just images in those things. Even a song like Marjorie, I would say, is regret, right? Like, I should have kept every single scrap, or every single grocery store seat, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I
So
think
that's
that
the third.
that's the what?
That's the third of the
Oh.
trilogy that I'm hearing is Marjorie. So
But
maybe it is
again,
regret.
it is that regret, because all of them have either these questions / these I did a thing to you. I dropped your hand while dancing. I coaxed you into paradise and left you there. I complained the whole way there instead of listening. And all of them are not. Nobody's listening to anybody in all three of these songs. Like, I should have been listening to you.
Listening.
Okay, what
or,
did you,
like,
Bridget? Now you have to tell us what you found.
No, I'm not going to. And that's so cruel of me. But I did want to make sense of the note how I just said, why did I write shares 8 of the same people as 'Tis the Damn Season? It's because of what you the Dorothea and 'Tis the Damn Season being related to each other. The players on those songs are mostly the same.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's lots of different players on this album, but those particular 2 songs share the same musicians. So
But yeah,
Yeah, and they're also apologetic, because Marjorie's apologetic. There
Okay.
is literally the apology that is in Coney Island, the sorry I for not making you my centerfold, and then there's also like the persona in Champagne Problems is very apologetic that they cannot say yes. It's like, and embarrass this person in front of their whole family that they brought out and they bought the expensive wine, and now nobody's drinking it, and now I'm ruining the vibes on a nighttime train. So I think it's very interesting to connect all of them.
yeah, maybe there isn't like it's not a super connection like lyrically, but I wonder if Aaron was picking up on like a vibe that Taylor had and was like, ooh, like and like kind of played with it. I know that other Taylor collaborator, Jack Antonoff, he does that a lot. Like his synths, like some of the synth notes that he uses for both his band Bleachers and for Taylor and other places, like he like hears different vibrations and they mean certain things, and so he'll reuse them in certain songs to give that feeling of like
cool.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if there is something similar that maybe Taylor's like, hey, I like that, and Aaron's like, oh, I will note that.
Right.
Do I bring it back in this one? And she's like, oh, I do like it. Maybe something
Yes.
like that.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's why I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, because my gut tells me it's just a cool producer choice.
Oh, okay.
But I want to just kind of make sure that I will at some point like write about it, but I don't.
Yeah.
No, but I like
realize
this
that
as a
people are-
good. That was a good exercise though, because
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah, that's the kind of stuff we love. Like, is there a connection? And a lot of Evermore definitely. I think maybe one of the reasons why Taylor doesn't talk about it so much is it kind of like Speak Now, where it was kind of like she didn't know it at the time, but it was a pivotal album that was going to set up the next thing in her life. In like, it had to break some things and reshape some things, and so.
Which is why it's so fun that it comes before Midnights, because Hannah knows, and I wonder if you've picked it up musically. Midnights as an album, Taylor was doing a lot of digging and breaking some bones she didn't realize that were broken until she had to re-break them because they didn't heal right. And she had to it's a whole lot. It's actually, Midnights is very complicated, deserved the album of the year that it got. And I am thinking about all these regrets, and I think it's really funny because the song that's next up on the list, Ivy, I don't sense much regret in Ivy at all for the actions that the narrator takes. She's not mad that she cheated or did these things.
Well, she's just mad at him. Like, oh, you just ruined everything, but she has no regrets.
Like, she doesn't regret the fact that that I'm covered in you now. Like, there's not a regret in that. And I wonder, what are you hearing musically in Ivy? Like, I found like the musicality be very lush, like Ivy, and but I'm wondering what you think.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in this song. This one for me was like looking through a kaleidoscope. there was just so much in every direction, and a lot of interesting sounds that don't return. Like they'll come in on beat 2 for a few measures in the middle and then disappear. And so then I spent way too much time. There's something that sounds like a glitch sound or a hospital machine beeping at like, it's somewhere, what did I clock it? Like I have 228 written on my notes. Sometimes I write these notes and they don't make any sense later, but there's a couple of like weird staccato sounds that come in.
My favorite is like there's that random like violin, like I love
Would
that.
you say that there are sounds on this song that are kind of like ghosts passing there, like it's haunted by certain things, and then they are gone, and then they're gone.
I love that. Yeah, it's a chaotic recording. It's a lot of people say that music is organized sound, and this is like, what's your pattern here? What's going on?
I will say it is one that was written by all three, Swift, Dessner, and Antonoff. It was only produced by Aaron, but I do feel like it's got a little chaos because it's got a little bit of all of them.
Right. Oh, that changes a lot. I wonder what that dynamic was like.
Oh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall. I have a question, because me and Hannah have noticed this when we were talking about the specific part in the pre-chorus where she starts rolling like a stone, like the old widow goes to the stone every day, but I just sit here and wait, and then it stops. And I wonder what's going on in the music that keeps the pushing.
I didn't clock that. I'm gonna have to open it up now.
Yeah, so
It's like in the old widow goes to the stone every day, but I just sit here and wait, grieving for the living. Like it's like the music as well as it's O's that are making it roll.
Right.
All the way down until it stops at the but I don't, and we don't get that O again.
And is it every pre-chorus? Sorry.
And it's the pre-chorus that's right after that first verse.
Okay.
On that one I know. And then I don't think we don't get it again, actually. That's funny.
So that's the thing, like the patterns that you expect don't happen on this song, which maybe is the whole Ivy.
That's
like
fascinating.
they don't
You're
grow
right.
the right way. You never know which way it's going to grow up your house.
She never
I'm
sings
listening.
that kind of pre-chorus again.
Like I rolled, now I stopped.
And that's it.
I'm not
That's all you
rolling
get.
anymore. Because the ivy grew and rooted it down. That's why we no longer rolling. She can't roll with all that ivy on her.
Yeah.
You know that saying, a rolling stone gathers no moss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's stuck and now she's covered.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Ooh. I'm also hearing that same thing that I was just talking about, that trilogies, which is making me going like, what else is it on? Did I missed that I had the mystery sound I haven't told you? Because it might be in my head and I only heard it today. And I don't want to spread lies in the Swiftyverse. This song is one of those ones that there's so much going on that I miss the story of it. And I probably should not listen on such good headphones. I should probably just go to the car and drive around.
That's probably what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot. And then you've got like Justin Vernon singing in the background, more sleigh bells here. Like the little, I guess, like unique pops and
makes it kind of like, it's not clean. It is, again, forgive me, it's literally tarnished, but so grand. If I'm going to steal her words directly, like that's what's happening in the music. Like there's so much, it's not clean. Like you would expect things to come back and they're not. And it's just very, wow, what a song.
Yeah, it is. This is one of those where, like I talked in the beginning how there's 40 instruments on this album and yet it's not a big album, but this song is busy. This song is busy. I like it a lot, but there's a lot happening that my brain has to keep track of. And it's harder to listen to. And I didn't listen to this album at all when it came out. I had a really, really tough, we all had a tough pandemic thing, but I was going through cancer treatment. I'm fine now, but like 2020 was just I was grieving lots of things, and this was not an album I was going to put on. So it took me a couple of years to come to it. And then I still hadn't really listened to it in order intentionally until rather recently. So I'm still learning.
I'm so glad. And now Cowboy Like Me. Let's keep it going. This song.
Let's talk about busy songs. I love this song. I like that it starts right in the middle of a sentence. And I wonder, is it starting right in the middle of a measure? Like what's happening musically.
Oh,
Because this song, I'm so struck by the lyrics. I don't think I've ever noticed what's going on beyond like the guitar.
it does start in the middle of a measure, and then yeah. So it starts in the middle of a measure. It also starts in a chord that's in the middle of. It's not on the one chord. It starts on the two chord.
Yeah, it's also starting in the middle of the story. Like you walk
Yep.
you walk into a bar and the bard is already in the middle of like the Odyssey, right? It's like when Odysseus is meeting the Cyclops or something, like it's
Yeah.
yeah, you're just thrown into a world.
It isn't, and it's got the lap steel again and the upright bass, so it sounds more country than a lot of the things do. So these is just another way instrumentation can kind of provide setting and place, and also trigger your own memories.
Also, she brings back the guitar solo. She hasn't really done a guitar solo
Yeah.
a lot, but this one has quite a few measures,
I have a note on here that says this. I wondered if it was actually written for debut.
Yeah.
Like this could have been on her first album, but it also kind of shows how much she's grown. So
Like it's just so I think of that bridge all the time in the way the bridge does this thing where to me the music, and I know I said earlier like I'm not really paying attention to music, but I am, because in the bridge it's like listing like the skeletons and the old men and the women, and then it gets to the part where it goes, but that was all before I locked it down. And like it feels like it slows, like it slowed down, and then now you hang from my lips like the gardens of Babylon.
oh yeah, I love that line.
And I'm like, oh, it feels slowed down. And when they performed it, when she performs it with Marcus Mumford at the Eras tour, he like did this thing where he like locked it down with like a twang, and they like paused the song. And when he performs it, he also like always like comes to like a stop there. And I think it's very funny to have this like stop in a song. I love when songs stop on the word stop, but I
Yeah.
also love when they stop like thematically, like all of our movement around with other people has stopped because we're locked down.
Yes. Yeah, and this song, the chords too are basically a circle. Not the entire circle of keys, but they go 2, 5, 1, 4, jumps around. It's the same as that new Harry Styles and Chloe and Sam and Sophia, and anyway, same chords as that too. I like the melody on this song a lot. It's a lot busier.
Yeah, this one also does. She's kind of knows the rules of songwriting, but then kind of breaks them. And so I'm like, I don't know what's a verse or what's a chorus. And she's just kind of
Yeah.
like meandering around.
That's funny. I had the same note here. I said, I love the melody and the chorus, or is it a verse?
Yeah, and I think it's a testament to like her understanding how a song works, but also like then you can twist it to to make it more interesting. And I am looking.
It's also like the sleight of hand of, because she's in the song, and her as the performer, she's performing it as a con artist. So it's like, what you're expecting? I got some tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah,
And
I
this is
love
a trick.
that.
There's another trick.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, it's
classic. She does that on lots of her later albums, but this is a song that's so obviously about that it's even better.
And you're right. This song has so many instruments: harmonica, mandolin, cellos, and other strings. And wow, that's
And yet it's gentle and easy to listen to.
yeah. It really
Easier
feels
than
like I could walk into like a bar and this would be the song someone's playing on the guitar, and they have like a couple sessioners behind them, and they're just twanging away, and I could just sit and listen for hours.
Absolutely. A whiskey at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's actually the lyric video has, I think they're like, it's like a whiskey bar. Like,
No way. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. This is my favorite song on Evermore, I think. I think it's
Really?
one of, depending on the day when you ask me, but almost all the time. Because she's just really lovely. I love whenever Taylor brings up stars and she has the eyes full of stars. But I also love the Forever's the Sweetest Con. I think that's one of the greatest, sweetest, most beautiful lyrics she's ever written.
Oh, yeah.
And I just like the way it sounds, because it does sound like it's taking you into this soundscape of, you're about to hear a bard tell you the story. Listen to it. Let's get into the story about how their greatest con ever was falling in love with one another.
Well, that's actually great. So, Brigid, I don't know if you know this, but there's like a debate within the Swiftie community whether this is a happy song or a sad song, because they're like, oh, like, is she going to get conned again, right? Or is it going to be, or is it saying forever sweet as con, as in like, we are going to be forever. Like, yes, one of us is going to die, but, you know, we're together. And because, like, we're an us. Like, musically, are they resolved, or is there like a minor hidden somewhere in there?
Right. There's one minor chord, and it's the first one in the whole song. But I think musically, the song resolves. It ends on the one, I think.
Yeah. Never gonna love
Yeah,
again.
it ends at home. So
All right.
when I say the one chord, it just means
Thank
home.
you.
See, thank you.
Does that resolve it?
Yeah.
You've sided with the Taylor seminars on this. I think what people are missing, they are hearing the Forever is the Sweetest Con and then not seeing the fullest picture, the full picture. I'm like, these are con artists. Con is the art that they perfect. So if something is a sweet con for them, they're like, oh my God, yeah, this is my greatest trick is falling in love with you. And I'm never going to have to do it. I'm never going to love again. I'm never going to do this again beyond you. And of course, I just love that it resolves at the end, because in the intro, we're plopped in the middle. Like, it's like, boom,
Right.
This is the middle.
And most songs on this album do not resolve. So it's nice. I just had to listen again and confirm to make sure it didn't cause a giant rift in the Swiftie-verse. But it does. And then
I love that too. You saying that a lot of songs don't resolve, but this one does. All right, Exquisite. We're doing it. We're doing good.
Thank you. And you know why else I think probably this is one of the ones that resolves is because for a lot of the songs, we have to get like the beginning. We're in the middle of a story in a lot of the songs, but this song starts us in the middle of the story and takes us to the end.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is the almost into an epilogue where everybody else, like, we're in the midst of conflict and all these are past the point of conflict, like the conflict, the climax, if you will. We're in the denouement, the falling action.
I love that. And another song I think that's happy is the next one, Long Story Short. This one, yeah, we've gone through a lot of uncomfortableness, but Long Story Short, very reminiscent to me, I think I mentioned this earlier, of The Last Great American Dynasty, that kind of chugging beat. This one's very happy, very upbeat, and lively, right? Because Dorothea was also jaunty, but not necessarily like lively. What do you think about this one, Brigid?
Yeah, sonically, this one I had to actually download and then put into my digital audio workstation to tempo check it, because it kept feeling like it was getting faster. But I don't trust my ears, because I know that most people record songs to a metronome that never changes. And so what I've decided about this rhythm is that it's recorded, it's completely the whole time, 79 beats per measure, the whole song through. But it sounds like they're still racing against the time here. That just isn't poetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me, especially. It always feels like it speeds up around and I fell from the pedestal right down the rabbit hole.
But I think the drum comes in a little bit ahead of the beat, and so it makes you feel like it's faster, but then it kind of pauses to wait back, or whatever's playing. Everything, like if you can picture lines that represent beat 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then ideally you want the drum to enter, or whatever, the rhythmic exactly. But people are human when they play, so sometimes it's a little ahead, the idea of a backbeat too is kind of just a little bit behind, and it just kind of keeps things in the pocket, as we say on the stage. But this one, it's like playing with the drummer who's trying to rush it, and then you're like, dude, slow down.
I love that.
That's interesting. And I wonder if it's like, it's like, yes, we're in our happily ever after, but I have to be ahead of things just in case something, like when someone comes at us this time, I'm ready because I'm a step ahead. Like, she's like, I got caught slacking one time, and now I will always be one step ahead, even though the boat is not rocking, but I'm here, I'm at the front.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This one, okay, Brigid, I did look at the credits for this one, and someone plays something called Crotalis.
Oh, I looked that earlier today too, because then the pronunciation thing, it said it was like crotals, and I was like,
Oh, is it
really?
crotals?
I've never heard of that. I don't know. That's what I must have clicked on it from Wikipedia, and it led me to a phonetics thing, and I was like, it can't possibly be. Oh, crotals.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to.
I followed you to Wikipedia. Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking at
crotals.
the
It
same
looks
thing.
like
Yeah, it's basically like a xylophone made of tiny cymbals.
is that
I've
what
never
that is?
actually heard anyone. Yeah, I've never heard someone say that word out loud, or I haven't heard it correctly. But it's a percussion instrument that, yeah. So it's got, like a piano has 2 black keys and then 3 black keys and then a whole line of white keys.
Yeah.
Well, these are all just like teeny cymbals. It looks like a kindergartner had a drum set and shrunk it and then just like stuck it on sticks.
That's so
and you just
cute.
kind of hit it around. Yeah, it's an adorable. I've never played one, but now my child is in a percussion group, and I'm like, I wonder if they have one. And I should look up how to pronounce it, because I'm staring at the phonetic thing going, what does the horseshoe sound like? I don't remember.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, it's this one also sounds very, I wouldn't say lush. It's not like Gold Rush, but it is a very full, like the poppiest song on the album, right?
You know what it sounds like? What is that word for, not victorious, but it sounds like
triumphant?
Oh.
Yes, I think triumphant is the word I'm looking for.
It does.
Yeah, like she made it to the other side.
It doesn't resolve though, FYI. It ends on.
Which is very interesting. Like the way it sounds like it's speeding up, like she's trying to get ahead of it. Just even in the song, like in the lyrics, she's like, I threw out like my stuff, but someone comes at us. This time I'm ready. Like I'm getting ahead of it. It's not resolved.
And the last word she sings is I survived, right? Long story short, I survived. And she's gonna have to keep surviving, right? Like it's gotta keep going.
And it's very interesting to have the long story short that doesn't survive, especially with hindsight, which is like, because right after this, we get the Great War.
Oh yeah, you mean like next album? Yes.
Yeah, we get like the literal song "The Great War" comes immediately after, and then like
yes,
because Midnight is directly after Evermore, and so it's very interesting to have a song about how you survived and you got through it to not resolve, because it's like, yes, I have to continue surviving. Did I actually go through and dig up all those memories to make sure that we're safe? And all of Midnight's is, I need to dig up the memories because maybe we're not safe. Maybe there's something in there screaming from the crypt that I can't find. So it's very, very interesting to have such a triumphant song that is still ending with ... Like,
yes, and it is a ... I need to listen to this again, because I also have a note that said it's my least favorite. But then I say it's mostly because of it jumps ahead of the beat, so it makes me nervous. But this goes to why certain songs you just don't like and everyone else likes them, and it's usually some sort of neuroscience memory attachment to something in there that's reminding.
Possible.
And I think it's like PTSD for me of being on stage with a band that won't slow down, and I'm just like, guys, you're going way too fast.
It's like, kids at a choir when they're like an a cappella song and you're like, oh no, they are rushing.
Yes. That's the feeling I have when I listen to this song. I feel like, oh, someone is playing it. Ooh, slow
that's
down,
so funny. That's the feeling I get with Fresh Out the Slammer of this song is making me nervous, but I like that it's like making me anxious and nervous. I'm like, oh God, we're headed. Like, please slow down.
I do like that if you can kind of, be aware of what it is, then you can sit back and just enjoy the feeling, which is something I often forget about music. And you'd think I'd know that by now, but it's like, oh yeah, that was the intention. Like, and this is why we listen to music, to feel human again.
Yeah.
So
I just can't stop thinking about the percussion being ahead, like one step ahead, because it is. This is the mindset, like of the narrator, of the singer, of like, I gotta stay ahead because there's no more tug of war. I just keep you warm instead of us warm. Like she's doing, I have to be one step ahead to be protective, to protect this and protect us. And you have to think, like, if the drum is too ahead of the music for too long, that sounds very exhausting. Like I feel like the song, if it were longer, would get exhausting.
Yes.
A lot of labor. Here's labor, lots and feeling, baby.
Yeah.
I
And
really want to
then,
break this down and
yeah.
see exactly which instrument's brushing because there's so many instruments on this song too, and they eventually all line up again. But there's a drum machine, and those don't ever make mistakes. So it's got to be the human part, or the producers intentionally like move the sound wave up over or something. So.
Which
But
it's
then
very
again,
fun.
they leave
It's
mistakes.
intentional.
Yeah, that's one of this records too, is they leave mistakes in, and they're not necessarily mistakes that seem like to go back to Champagne Problems and the sound of the pedal. When I've done piano work in studios, engineers are usually really intentional about mic placements and doing tricks to get rid of those kinds of sounds. But clearly that wasn't on their, they left it, they could have gotten rid of the sound and they didn't. So same thing here, maybe somebody played too fast and they just left it. So, I don't know.
Mm. So now on a what are your thoughts about the music of Marjorie?
Just jumping in, huh?
I know,
Yep.
jump into Marjorie. I'm looking to see if I had any connections between the two. Not really. Okay. Marjorie's beautiful, and I think that I knew the story before I heard the song, so that clearly affected me. And I was waiting for the voice of her grandmother to sing. So I play the musical Saw, which sounds like a drunk soprano, really.
Yes.
So I was playing a Taylor Swift song, and everybody kept jumping in, going like, "You should play the Marjorie part on it." And I think that's rather insulting to Marjorie. She sounds a lot better than this Saw. But I really love how it's put together. I think it's stunning. I think it's musically related to Champagne Problems in Coney Island for reasons that I will not disclose yet. But
Think on it. Think on it. Let us know later.
I'm thinking, yeah, I will. It starts kind of weird and digital, it's synthy, and then there's like a kick drum that comes in probably before most of you noticed. It comes in about 30 seconds, really, really soft. And so it's low in the mix. There's a drone that almost reminds me of a stage that's just there the whole time. And which, again, and this is where since I knew the story first, I was kind of like, oh, is this me projecting a stage and an opera singer and such? But, Taylor knows the song too. And so when she chooses a lot of these sounds, and the orchestration, it's usually intentional. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to things, but I feel like I wish that I hadn't known what it was about first when I was listening, I think.
I mean, we got hit by a sledgehammer. Yeah.
Man, going into this song blind, and you like, because again, you don't become aware of what she's talking about until like the bridge. You're just like, okay,
we had an inkling because it was named Marjorie and we knew she had a grandmother named Marjorie, but we weren't like what exactly? But then as it slowly like the veil lifts and you're like, oh my gosh, this song is
because like it's very like repetitive, right? You pre-chorus and the chorus of like what died didn't stay dead, you're alive, and then that advice. But again, it's not until the bridge where it's like she starts going in on her regrets of like, I complained and I didn't listen and I didn't ask you any questions. And I should have kept the receipts and memorized how you signed like your signature. And then like there is this, I wonder what's going on musically, but there's that beautiful part of like all your closets of backlog dreams and how you left them all to me. Like that is so much.
And this is part of why I couldn't listen to this album either, is that not to get super dramatic, but I lost my mom and my dad back to back right before like the end of 2019. And I was spending 2020 recovering from that and in bed on bed rest and going through my mom's stuff, like literally her checkbook where she wrote checks to grocery stores. And so that line destroyed me. Just memory, like these little pieces of paper that you don't think you're going to leave behind, and you are. And I mean, the first time I heard this song, I like threw away an entire closet desk drawer worth of stuff because I got real literal and sad for my children. I was like, one day you're going to find my grocery store receipts and it's going to be the end of you. And so,
oh man.
But again, we all have our personal hangups, and I never knew my grandmother's either. So this song is stunning, and my hope is that for Taylor, it turned out exactly how she wanted it. Because when a song is this close to home, and I know they're all close to home, but when I have to feel that there's some sort of, not pressure, but she wants to do right by Marjorie,
Yeah.
and it's important, and her mom is listening, and I just, every little second and placement is beautiful on this, and I hope that she's happy. If you're listening, you should be proud of it. It's just stunning.
Did you get to go to the Era store?
No, I was so close. We were in Canada. My son's an actor, and he was filming in between Calgary and Vancouver, and like, he wasn't filming that day, and he wanted to spend his entire paycheck to go. And I said, we can't do it. And I don't know if I was a good mom or a bad mom, but no.
There's something about being in the audience when you get to hear Marjorie and also get to hear the live instrumentations, and also them being surrounded by the lights. It just really comes alive in this really interesting way. And like, you can see it when you watch it, the tour film. But there was something about like being down there and like hearing Marjorie's voice echo through the entire
That was wild.
Incredible.
Stadium. Especially with the Backlog Dreams. It's like, you left with me, but look, you're here. And again, it's like that musical stage that she literally set up, and she's like, you're on a stage now.
It is. And, lyrically, to go back to what I talked about in the very beginning, which was all that Taylor's done for women in the industry, on the shoulders of all the women who tried to do it before she did. And her grandmother was one of those women. And, of course, then she didn't get to do the same things that Taylor has gotten to do for so many reasons. And it's just a cycle of tears.
Oh,
incredible.
Yeah.
I know.
And so this one, I'm guessing, doesn't resolve, right? But you're still around, and then
no, I think it ends on the very much the "We're Almost Home," the same chord that "Cowboy Like Me" ends on.
Oh,
Let me triple check. I mean, the same functional chord. I don't know. It's in a different key.
Cool.
But
That's
okay. So it ends. Oh, I have the first chord that you hear is a D minor, even though the song has a sound of an F. And I have a note because it sort of ends. It ends open-ended, I guess. Let me just
okay,
not
which makes
talk about
sense.
the actual notes.
I think open-ended makes sense because it's like, I think you're still around. I still think you're here. You're not gone. It's not like I've accepted it at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's the unresolved note that's hanging, but then there's a hint of the home also that just kind of comes in. So where are we? Are we there? We're sort of there. There's an echo. There's a ghost, if you will.
It's like, you're with me. You're with me.
You're still
exactly.
around. Well, there is an ending though in Closure. Just because. What?
That one is wild.
So, Exquisite and I, in a previous episode, defended this song because we think it's so fun. You gotta just get over the pots and pans of it all and just really understand that she's mad as hell, and so she is gonna break something.
100%. This song reminds me. I thought it was Tom Waits at first. The opening is. It sounds like it's hitting on garbage cans and where are we going and what. It's another one that's in 5/4 time. And
yes,
the ending is very. Yeah, the opening sounds are chaotic, but then there's a nice piano chord of just like a D major. So it's hard to keep track of, hard to predict. I love that. The rhythm of when she says the word closure is very unpredictable, and the ending is open. There's just so many different notes that it's hard to identify what chord is going. So is there closure, or can you identify what it is, or is there just too much going on? It honestly reminded me of a jam band on stage, just that kept going and looked at each other like they're all trying to follow what chord are you going, and then they all go to the wrong one, and then they look at each other and then they switch, and it's just like ending up at different places at the same time, and it fades out forever for 20 seconds or something.
I know. I love it
I like
so
this
much.
a lot.
It just feels like the music is ranting with her. She's like, we're all mad, whole house angry.
Love it.
Oh, it's like Beauty and the Beast castle, but all the furniture is angry, and they're attacking. Remember, they're attacking the townspeople. Well, the townspeople, they're defending themselves against the townspeople.
Right.
But there's everyone's mad.
Yeah,
that's such a fun image.
That it's so great. And my favorite part is that I'm fine with my spite and my tears and my beers and my candles. Like she just keeps adding the
She
and
does.
also there's this weird musical thing that I can't like put in the words because it's not my thing. That comes right after that. I can feel you smoothing me over, and in my head, the music sounds like it's smoothing.
Yeah, they do
Oh,
something
yeah.
to her voice. They definitely like did
Oh,
some.
let's find out what it is.
some
Where is that about? Anyone have a
It's
timestamp?
verse 2. I can feel you smooth me over.
Okay.
It's
I
like
can
a
feel you.
letter.
Yeah, verse 2 is maybe
Yeah.
halfway, a little before halfway.
Right. I got it. I can. Oh yeah, they leave space in there. Oh, I wonder. There's distortion around it, but yeah, there's definitely some different effects there.
Yeah,
Let's see.
but you're right.
It's just so interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds more smooth at that moment. The background pots and pans stuff kind of fades back, and you get this nice piano moment. That's fun.
I love the piano in this, and I think it also goes back to what you said earlier about juxtaposing kind of these synth electronic-y sounds with more classical sound. Like this one, like it's like, what if we just heightened everything with, but I don't, but without. Is there guitar in this? Not now. I need to look at the.
I know. I keep mixing them
There
all up.
is,
I don't think there's
I think
guitar.
there's
not
a
guitar.
violin and a cello.
Yeah, but it's
And
not
a
like
bass.
yeah,
There's a
but it's
bass.
very piano driven and then distortion and percussion.
There's so much.
This song having a trumpet. What's this trumpet?
I know. Those are those funny things that happen after you record everything, where everything's on a different channel or track, and you get to choose what's loudest and what's not, and then it can change over the course of a song. So you go in there and I might play accordion on an entire song, and then they just like gently fade it in and then fade it out. So sometimes you don't even notice. And this song is so full of drones, or this album is so full of drones, which are things that you would miss if they weren't there, but you wouldn't notice when you're listening.
Yeah, they just add like a layer, like a texture layer.
A pad or something.
Yeah. Are we ready for? Well, so let's move on then. We're almost there, guys. But this is the last track of the standard album, the title track, Evermore. This one, another piano heavy song, and then she does that crazy thing where, in the bridge, it suddenly like shifts. We get another one of those like perspective shifts that she's done several times now in this album, with Justin Vernon, and I guess it speeds. It's got some kind of either time signature change or a tempo change, and then it slows down again and goes back to the piano. So this one has a lot of decisions.
It does. Yeah. So what is happening musically is that in that bridge section, it gets faster. It just absolutely gets faster. And you guys can tell me what that represents, because all I heard was what's going on? I'm so confused.
It's funny, we haven't like done our Evermore episode, but
Technically we have Exquisite. It came out. We're doing this out of order.
You're right.
Cool.
You're right. We're going out of the order. Listen,
No worries.
they
No
don't
worries.
realize. But I think like, well, they will know we've already like discussed it, but there is this thing with the music where she is like almost like at the bottom of a pit, like of despair, and like this pain's gonna be forevermore. It's gonna be like terrible. Like I had a feel. It's a peculiar feeling that she's like. It's a weird feeling, and then the music gets weird and it speeds up.
Yeah.
And then while it's speeding up, you have Justin Vernon being like, "Can we get a pause to like think about where we're at? Like, can we think this out? Like, what do I need to do?" And then suddenly she's like, I was shipwrecked, like there's mess everywhere, and then I thought of you. And so like him coming in, like he's like cutting through that noise, which again reminds me of Willow, of the rough on the surface but you cut through like a knife.
Oh, that's good.
Of him like coming in. And it's the cracks of light, I dreamed of you. And then all of a sudden it like comes to this like gentle, and I was catching my breath after this whole.
It's like when I think about it, I think of the whether be the frost or the violence of the dog days, I'm on waves out being tossed. So in that, when it's speeding up, I literally feel the winds picking up, right, of the chaos and the change and the conflict surrounding me, right? Long story short kind of vibes. And it's just picking her up like a tornado and just kind of tossing her around. And then she's trying to weather the storm, maybe in, tornado analogy, like in a cellar. and then all of a sudden the storm's gone. Maybe the rain has stopped, and you see
Into the eye,
and
if you mind a mixed metaphor of a hurricane.
well, I would say like even past the eye, because the eye means it's going to be crazy again, right? I would just say like the dawn is breaking, and now like, oh, the skies are blue. We can rebuild. We can come out of the storm cellar kind of vibe.
I love the sky's blue thing because there's a really nice harmony on the piano that happens after the chaos too. That just sounds pretty.
But yeah. No, you're good. I just love it because again, literally in the lyrics, like you feel it in the music, and in the lyrics is it was real enough to get me through, but I swear, and he's going, is there a line that we can just go across? And then it's like, you were there, and then it clears. Right. You were there, and it clears out, and everything settles.
Beautiful.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this pain won't be forevermore. It's like light bulb, blue skies. That was crazy.
Yeah. It's really long too, as far as pop songs go. I mean, I know this whole album doesn't follow the rules.
Oh, you're right.
But over 5 minutes is pretty long.
And most of that time is being taken up by this chaos. Like you get the really sad, like, oh my God, I'm catching my death outside right now. Barefoot, cold, freezing. I'm probably about to die. Oh, there's a storm, and we're stuck in that storm and swirl, swirl, swirl. And I think it's very interesting because we also get Justin Vernon in his like Bon Iver high pitch that most people are used to with him.
Right.
That if you only know him from a Taylor Swift songs, you're not used to from him because he went for Exile. So it was like, oh, and it's like, yeah, he's cutting through the noise. It's a very interesting conversation of a not conversation because like they're overlapping each other. And I feel like the music is all overlapping as well. It's like, they're not on these same notes unless they are. Are they literally overlapping? I know like the words are all intersecting all over the place. Like they're speaking at the same time, different times. Until they stop. And then they get on one page.
I'm listening to see if they're on the same note, but yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
It is really good. I love Evermore. Now that we all learned the word timbre, I can talk about how his high-pitched voice there sounds higher than hers, but it's not necessarily higher. It's just that's one of the things that timbre, which you can think of as tonal color, can do in music, is make you think something's higher than it really is, or make you think she's singing lower than the actual frequency is. But to go back to it, kind of overlaps. And is it what's happening? And this song's ending is the same. It's got kind of an unclear ending. It sort of ends on the 4 chord, which is like the dreamlike chord, but there's also the tone of the home, and it's hard to tell which is more powerful. There's 2 chords it could be. So
wow.
I think that's so interesting because in the song, she's actually not sure if he's there or not. Like there is the lyric is, I dreamed of you. It was real enough to get me through, but I swear you were there. Like we don't actually know if he's there.
Right.
Like we're hearing his voice, but maybe he's not there.
And it's
but like, this idea is real enough.
And it's very Exquisite and I think when we did the overview episode for this, we kind of said that like there's 2, like, yes, this is the standard ending, but there's actually 2 paths you can go after this song, right? Which we're going to talk about next. There's the right where you left me path, and then the it's time to go path. So it's, even there's like 2 ways you can see this ending.
Love that.
Yeah, which also
Choose
Brigid, I don't know.
Adventure.
She loves to do that. And so, Brigid, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you want to kind of play this game with Taylor albums, where typically what she'll do is she loves to end on an optimistic note. She does this in every album except Folklore. She hides the optimistic note on Folklore until the bonus, the separate one. Folklore, she ends it kind of like, like, oh my God, wait.
I have a whole like dissertation that I literally wrote last week on Folklore and the endings of different albums, and so I now need to go.
Yeah. No, so Folklore Standard ends very sad, actually. Hoax is like no other sadness in the world would do is the ending. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what
And
you
then she's
did
like,
was just as dark.
and then she's like, psych!
Right.
Look, deluxe
Yeah, yeah.
lakes. Like, happy. I remember when Rob Sheffield wrote his review for Folklore, he was actually very confused. He was like, why did it end on hoax? And so he was like, but as a reviewer, they gave me the lakes early. So I think when Taylor first released it, the only the physical copies had the lakes. So he's like, I got to hear it because I got the review copy, and he's like, this is so to him, he was like, okay, now it's a normal Taylor Swift album. But looking back now, he clocked it, right? He was like,
I love
what is
that.
wrong?
I love his writing so
Yeah,
much.
so you should check out his original Folklore review, but that's why in this one, we have like the optimistic ending normal, but then there's two kind of like sad endings. Midnight's has the optimistic ending of a Mastermind, but then the deluxe ending is actually very sad. Dear Reader, TTBD
Right.
ends with Clara Bow, but then the manuscript is, I guess, kind of happy.
TTPD ends so sinister.
Oh yeah,
It's
TTBD ends sinister. Yeah, you're right.
It's original sinister, and then the anthology ends with a "This is why I went through all this struggle," and then it's very interesting because Life of a Showgirl has no bonuses, and no, she's like, this is the ending of what this Life of a Showgirl song is, and it's just about like the Life of a Showgirl song is like, this is why I do this, kind of like the manuscript actually. But in a different way. The manuscript, she's like, this is why I do this because of these people that hurt me. Life of a Showgirl title track is like, I do this even though it hurts me in these different ways. And I love it. I love it. Like manuscript, I do this because I have to survive and this is how I do it. And then Showgirl's like, I love the pain. I love it. So sorry. And then, so it's very interesting for Evermore, which again, we have Taylor at this crossroads. And like Evermore, the title track does have the I swear you were there and it was enough and this pain won't be forevermore ... question mark, the end maybe, and then you enter right where you left me.
And you're like, girl, are you okay? And the answer is no, I've been sitting at a restaurant and I can't leave. Because if I leave, then that means everything is over. Everything, the life I built is actually well, this song, Brigid, I loved your thoughts about the structure of the song because, again, it's like, where is the chorus? And she just starts jumping into right where you left me, like left and right. And I'm like, where am I? Right. I don't know where I am.
I had the same thing. And I didn't actually know this song until today, I will tell you, because I was listening to the different version that didn't have this.
Yeah, so probably the standard, yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. In fact, did I write that this one might be my favorite? I think
you are having a very common Swiftie experience where this is some people's like absolute favorite Taylor Swift song on the album.
Really?
Yeah.
People have quoted this a lot in my videos, the help I'm still at the restaurant part. And so for me, it was kind of like, oh, that's what that's from. That's funny. It's funny, but I've known who Taylor Swift was before her first album came out. And yet there are still surprises for me. So it's been fun. But there's a banjo, but there's also drum programming. But then the drum programming is playing the way that a country drummer would play, like the same sort of rhythm that I would expect a live drummer to play. And usually the program drums are very obviously programmed, and you don't try to make them copies. So it goes again to is it human? Is it old? Is it new? And are we at a chorus or are we not? It starts on the 5 chord, which is usually it's the chord that makes you expect home next, but this one starts there. And this is super nerdy, but I was just noticing that extra note that ends Evermore is one of the notes that we hear at the beginning of
a little bridge.
It's that confusing note where I had to listen and go, is it here? Well, what function is it serving? Because it could either be a G flat major 7 or it could be a D flat. This is nerdy stuff, but basically you have all 12 notes, and then depending on think of it like a sentence, is it the first word of the sentence or is it the middle? They function differently. And so it's the same thing with music. Everything is different when you zoom out and look at the album and think about context. So I have a question, like, could they overlap? They maybe could.
Yeah, narratively, I guess it's like picking up on the this is another ending. This
Hmm.
is like I thought it ended here. No, look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Attention,
thought she survived, but no, she's actually still at the restaurant.
Right. Is it all a dream? Is that?
attention,
Yeah.
attention. It really is pulling your attention. What I am noticing, and I went to double check, right? I'm like looking through these. Um, and the song is right where you left me, and we get, but I'm right where you left me only twice, like only twice in the first verse, because what happens in the pre-chorus is, um, I set in, I set and stared right where, and then basically there's like a hidden semicolon, and it goes, you left me, you left me. It's not right where you left me, it's you left me. And then she goes, you left me no choice. Like she's doing this thing where she's like changing, and I think she talked about this in her New York Times thing, but she's changing the way
Yes.
the word works, because it's right where you left me a sentence, but she for the chorus is like, you left me no choice, you left me, you left
Yeah.
me, you left me no choice, instead of right where you left me. It's such an interesting thing she's doing that's causing it to continue, and it feels wrong. It's like, no, the chorus should also have the right where, but it doesn't. None of the chorus have right where. Like,
Right.
you just left me.
I think she does the same thing with the chords too, where it's almost like there could be a semicolon. I love that idea in between where the same chord goes on a little longer and you're not sure if it's part of the pre-chorus or if it's, or I don't know if there's
Yeah.
a pre-chorus in there. And when you asked about structure, I was like, oh, I actually didn't take notes about structure on this one. And I only heard it twice, but
Yeah. Well,
so I know every note in the song, but I can't remember what order they come in.
no, I think this song is. It's also just. I don't know. It sounds simple. Like it doesn't. The chords don't seem to change too much.
Yeah, they don't.
But which makes sense. Everybody moved on, but she stayed there. She's like, I feel like the verse. I feel like maybe two chords in the verse that goes back and forth.
There are four. Oh, there's a totally different one in the bridge. Oh, it's 4 and 5. Sorry,
No worries.
My headphones.
But yeah,
I'm like,
no, this song is this song is a really fun song because of all the wordplay. We'll get to the wordplay soon. Exquisite.
yeah, tell me about
Yeah.
the wordplay because I was lost in
Oh,
the
no.
chords and the banjo.
Oh yeah, it's just the wordplay between like you left me, like you literally
Oh,
left
right,
me behind,
yeah,
versus
yeah.
you left me no
It's
choice. Yeah, that's
it's
so
like
fun.
you left
Love
me
it.
no choice, you left me, and then there is these no's, like this rejection, and that's why she's frozen. She's like, you left me no, you left me
Yes.
no, and then she goes, you left me no choice.
Yeah, it's so
It's like
good.
she's like disclaiming, like, what do you mean you left me? It's almost, you know what it's very similar to? It's very similar to the Torture Poets Department, the short version, like the Torture Poets Department title track, which is like the like what? Like, Hannah, do you remember what is the part in towards the intro to her apartment where she's like kind of aghast that he left her at her apartment, like and that she was ghosted. Like the torture post part of the song, it feels very like, what do you mean?
Oh,
that
the
you
vibe.
left me?
Yeah.
Let me
Now I want to
find.
know if they have the same chords.
All right, you let us know, and we'll add it to the notes of the show.
Right. Different key.
Yeah. Well, let's do the
It's
final.
the who's gonna hold you in the torture postmark that I'm like stuck on. That she's
Oh,
like, who's gonna hold you? Who's gonna know you? Like, what do you mean you left? Like, you left your typewriter? Like, this is ridiculous. And it's like, you left me. No, that's not fair. That is not fair. It's this like
this
you become
protestation.
so, yeah, like you protested so much that you get frozen. Like, this cannot be happening to me. And now I'm stuck thinking about it over and over again. What could have
Yeah,
happened?
flight, fight, or freeze, right? And she froze.
Mhm.
All
I
right,
do
go ahead.
love
Bridget.
that she, oh no, just quickly, it's another one that ends on the 5 chord, totally unresolved, and especially it's you left me. It's sort of like you left me hanging, and it does that musically too. So.
Yes, I love that.
And it literally, we're being left hanging, and the line that ends it is, but to stay here forever.
And
Like,
it just kind of
lingering.
hold like that, and that chord just holds forever.
It's
That's it.
torture.
It's
It's torture. My kiddo did it earlier where he turned off the is it Jeopardy or something right as it went dun 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 dun, and then like the music went off, and everybody was like, ah, We all need that closure. That's the same sort of feeling that happens when you end on this chord.
Mhm.
Wow.
Just
I love that. That's a great parallel that they have to each other. All right, guys, we're almost there. Last
Okay.
one. It is time to go.
It's ironically called It's Time to Go.
Oh my gosh, it's so late, you guys.
You guys, we're powering through. Us
doing
three.
it.
We are powering through. It is time to go. So let us. So this one has like that kind of like doot 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 start that she's loved. Those little pulsing things. She's used it in like Peace and Folklore. It's a little bit of Marjorie, other places, but yeah, I feel like it's got a little bit of beat. What do you think, Brigid?
I loved it so much because it is that same rhythm, but it's not a synth. There's a synth in there, but it's a cello. And usually, but it's a very electronic rhythm. It's not a rhythm you're used to hearing a cello doing. So I just love that. It was, we're playing dun 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 dun, dun and
I love that you love this song because
it's great.
I am gonna have to battle for this song when we like talk about it, because Hannah has this, and I wonder if you can musically defend this. But they're like the moment Hannah doesn't like that it rhymes go go go, and also she doesn't like the repetition of giving up is the strong thing, the brave thing, the one thing, the right thing.
You can rhyme more things with thing. It ends in ing, Taylor.
She doesn't like that.
It's like that Kid Rock song. We were driving silly things and we were doing silly things. It's so annoying. It's had the same reason. It was some summer song that came out where he sampled Warren Zevon and rhymed thing with thing. And I don't want to be like, do I have to choose Team Hannah or Team Exquisite?
No, you don't have to choose.
No,
I know I don't like that either typically, but I also know that Taylor wouldn't like that either. So she must have a good reason for doing it.
Yeah. She
knows she can beat the rhyme.
I think she's just tired. She's just tired as hell.
See, this is what Hannah's saying, because Hannah's a folklore stan. But like from like to me from right, and I wonder if it's doing this musically too, the repetition of like thing and go over and over again is this reassuring, like this self-soothing of like, I don't need a rhyme, I just need the same thing. I need the same thing, literally thing, over and over again until I can get up and go. Like if I were to change
like a mantra, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like I gotta repeat, you are okay, you are okay, you are okay until I believe it, and then I can change it. She can't change it yet because she's not ready to go. So she just keeps saying, go, girl, get out. And she's like, I'm not ready.
I love that. It reminds me too of when you're like in a songwriting room with somebody co-writing a song and it's late, or then you're doing a podcast with somebody and it's late and you're like, we're almost there. We can get the perfect rhyme if we just spend a little more time, but man, it is time to go. So you just leave it and let it go.
That could be it too.
And you just go. Like that's how the song is. Literally, it goes, so then you go, and then you go, and you just go. Like that's how it ends. Hannah doesn't like that, again, because she's like,
I don't like it either, but there's a reason. She's done it. Obviously, everything's for a reason. But when she talked about real low, real slow, she doesn't like that. She surely doesn't like rhyming thing with thing, which, again, means that it's got to be more mantra related and representative of something
I agree
else.
that it's probably that I still don't like it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not in the verses, it's just in the chorus, which again to me just feels like she's like, I have to affirmation this until I can just go.
We'll argue about this more when it's time for this episode. But
I just want to know, is that happening musically too? Like, are those same chords being repeated?
I will say that this whole song is very hypnotic, along with several other songs on the entire album, Evermore. There are moments where you get lost in the rhythm and the repetition of the chords, the chord progression, which is just a pattern of chords that repeats over and over. And I definitely find myself feeling somewhat hypnotized at times. So she hadn't really done that lyrically. So maybe this is the song where she does it more lyrically, but it's also a hypnotic song sonically.
And if you watch those hypnotism videos or like any of those, or if you look at visual things that hypnotize you, it is not a rhyme, it's a repetition. So it's like, it has to be the same thing until it clicks. Like I have to snap my finger exactly on the downbeat over and over and over again until it like locks in your brain, which is my defense. And I'm sticking to it. And I'm happy.
I'm so happy for you.
You know, I am like of the very, 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 very tiny minority that I'm like, I think a lot of people don't appreciate the verses of It's Time to Go the way they should, because the verses of It's Time to Go have so much tea in them that
I
like
agree. No,
people are like,
okay, we'll get into it. I will get into it.
we get it right now,
But so that is 17 tracks. Good job, team. I'm so proud of us. That was a long album. The entire album standard is 60 minutes and 38 seconds, and with the deluxe it's practically 69 minutes. It's 68:58.
Yeah.
So this is quite so Brigid, I'm very impressed that you listened to it so many times today.
yes.
But any concluding thoughts about the album
Favorite
overall?
sound
Like
overall,
the floor is yours.
Let's do it.
And do you have an emoji?
Oh yeah, and then you'll have to add an emoji that it doesn't even have to
I
be
do.
specifically about any emoji that makes you think Evermore. And then people just leave it in the comments. But before you do that, any thoughts you have about closing thoughts about the album sonically?
Yeah, so I'll try to stick sonically with the vibe. It's lots of unresolved endings musically, where you either get home when you weren't expecting it, or you never go home, which when we get back to that ending of help, I'm still at the restaurant, she's not home, or I can go anywhere I want but not home. There's lots of drones. There's the whole thing opening with some sort of weather texture. I don't know, the rustle of some sort of nature, whether it's a willow branch or what, which is a natural thing. So I love the whole contrast of real life, organic things. And I think of a cello as kind of like that too, these older instruments with the synthesizers, and it kind of mirrors that emotional discomfort and what am I supposed to think? And there's so many hidden production details. I think that it's an album that you can just enjoy and listen to it sonically and purely on vibe, and you can kind of get the point of, I think, what the emotion of the lyrics say, or you could dive deeper if you want. And I think that's one thing I really love about her last 6 albums in particular, is the different layers that you can choose how deep you want to go. And I'm not even talking about lore and what is this about and who is this about. It's just, oh, I didn't notice that fun little trick or that interesting chord or how this didn't end. So I really love how she plays with harmonies and instrumentation to mirror emotional discomfort.
That's so good.
100% agree. That was wonderful. Yeah, and I can't wait to hear so many of these in my next Evermore listen.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Brigid, do you have an emoji?
I'm so stressed about the emoji.
Don't be stressed.
What do people choose? Is this like a... Because I want to get the right answer because I'm such an overachiever, but there's no right.
How about there's 10 right answers? That way you can feel like you got it, but like it's not like shouldn't be too stressful.
I want to do. Is it too basic to do the smiley when it's like teeth?
The grimace.
Gritted,
I love that. I love that emoji. It's like the one that's showing all its teeth, but like
yeah. But like, is this really what's happening?
No,
that's what I think of.
I like that a lot because what we talked about, like a lot of this album is very uncomfortable. We don't know if it's a good ending or a bad ending, and we feel bad for the protagonist in a lot of these songs. We're like, I wish I could just hold your hand or give you a big hug. Right. Yeah, I love that answer. Right. So,
okay.
Yes, great answer. That was the correct answer.
That was a correct answer. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Brigid, for joining. I will put your socials in the notes, but if you happen to be on, she's Brigid, Brigid Kaelin, Kaelin on TikTok and Instagram. You could totally find her there. She has tons of Taylor Swift related little musical things that are super fun just to scroll through. And thank you so much for taking out 2.5 hours of your time.
I can't believe we're still talking. I know, it was a blast. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. See you next week, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.